everybody, and welcome to Row 60, a Georgia football podcast. My name is Clark Gaines. Joining me today, as always, Adam Thornton.
Boom!
And this is show number 61. The Dogs are 4-0 on the football season.
Whoa! Yeah,
Good time to be alive, Adam.
Let's go, man. Third of the way through, still number one, still undefeated. All your main goals still intact. Not a lot of people in the country can say that, Clark.
That is true.
Clark, we're not even done with the month of September yet. Let me just start the show by saying this.
Okay.
We're not even done with the month of September yet, and there's only 3 Southeastern Conference football teams still undefeated.
That's satisfying.
Can you guess? Obviously, Georgia, the show that the team that this show is about. Can you guess who the other 2 is?
They're both in the SEC East, Adam.
Yeah.
Kentucky and Missouri.
Can you believe that?
That's unreal.
Can you believe that? Man, I mean, I know really there hasn't been, there's been teams who have played more difficult schedules than the 3 that's undefeated, but still, that is a crazy stat right now, Clark, to say that Kentucky and Missouri is Georgia's company with the remaining unbeatens in the SEC. We're not even through the month of September yet, man. Still one more week of football, college football action to go before we get in October, man, and what a wild month it has been.
For sure. Yeah.
Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. This has been the wildest college football season I can remember. Kind of shaping up to be a finish like we saw in 2007, man, which was probably the most pandemonious.
Yeah.
Can I make that a word? I'm going to make it a word. I'm going to make it a word.
Okay.
Most pandemonious. It rolls off the tongue good,
Yeah,
so
I like
it should
it.
be a word. That's what I'm going to use. So anyway, the synonym for pandemonious would be pandemonium, but you can't use that as the most pandemonium season. The most pandemonious season was 2007, man, and it's shaping up to be that way, man. So exciting. I think it's from sea to shining sea. What college football's like, man. From the people up there in rainy Seattle down to Valdosta, Georgia, people are excited about it.
Yeah.
People up in
Actually, people up in Washington are feeling pretty good right now.
Exactly. That's why I say. That's why I alluded to them first, man.
Yeah.
I mean, a heck of a club up there. And then you got the people up in Connecticut, man, up in Hartford, Connecticut. They're excited about ball, and the people in Tucson, Arizona are. So from corner to corner, sea to shining sea, man. All of God's children are enjoying some college football this year, and we've been blessed for the first 4 weeks of the year, man, and I continue for that to happen, and hey, we're ramping on into the heart of the season, and I'm excited. We're going to a team that I despise, I've always despised, and always will despise. We're going to Auburn University for the annual beatdown, Clark. There's 3 things in life for certain, what our board says: death, Texas, and Georgia beating Auburn in football. That's the 3 things that you're going to know. We're all going to die. We're all going to die.
10 out of 10 people die.
The government's always going to tax us.
That's 100%.
And Georgia's always going to beat Auburn in football. 3 certain things, man, right there. Love it, love it, love it,
Big
man.
week.
So,
it's hate week,
sir.
Adam. It's hate week. And on this episode, we got a lot to talk about. Obviously, Georgia versus UAB. Interesting game.
Yeah.
We got some Patreon shout-outs. Clark's fun facts. Georgia's offense,
Always
defense,
a
and
fan
special
favorite.
teams. Is it?
Yeah,
I hope so.
Yeah,
Maybe,
yeah.
I'd like to think it is.
Just felt good to sneak that in there.
Exactly.
Right there. I mean,
Then we'll be previewing Georgia versus Auburn, the Deep South's oldest rivalry. We got some keys to the game.
Wait.
Yep. Last week's games, a lot of good football. We've got this week's pick'em, and then last but certainly not least, a game of the week. And Adam,
Man.
I'm just going to say this. The game of the week this week features some excellent mascots. So stick around till the end. And also, at the very end, we're going to talk about a giveaway. We haven't done a giveaway in a while, and
Been a little bit.
Yeah.
Been a little bit.
We're gonna
That's
do
on
it
us
this year.
That's on us. That's poor form on our part that we haven't done that yet. But, we're going to get back into that.
we will. We certainly will.
Yeah, exciting. I'm excited about what the giveaway entails, Clark.
Yes.
What you have to do to get the prestigious prize that is being given.
Right.
It's not just, you don't just have to put your name in a drawing, right?
Yeah,
It's not
a
that.
challenge. It's more of a challenge.
It's going to take talent.
Yes.
It's going to take talent and natural God-given ability to be able to pull off what we're asking to get this prestigious prize that we have, man. So stick around for details on that.
Oh, yeah. All right, first, I want to make an announcement, too. Forgot to mention this. Live call-in show this Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can thank the Row 60 patrons. They wanted a call-in show. You're going to get it because of them. And we want to talk to you guys. We want to talk to you guys Friday night, 8:30 p.m. Normally do these on 8, so remember 8:30. Mark it down on your calendar. We're going to have a lot of fun and talk about this Georgia versus Auburn game. We want to hear from you and why you hate Auburn. If you hate Auburn. If you're a Georgia fan, you should.
You should.
Yeah.
You should. There's really no reason to like Auburn.
Right.
I mean, really. Who wants to go to Opelika, Alabama?
Not me. I mean, we're going this weekend.
Spend a lot of time there on the campus, like go to school there, get an Auburn education.
Excuse me. Sorry. I didn't mean to. If you got
who
an
wants to be
Auburn,
an Auburn football fan? I don't.
I don't.
I don't. What if they ever won anything? They've pulled some voodoo Houdini stuff in the last 13 years. You know,
perhaps
a couple
sold
times.
their souls to
one would
the
say.
devil.
One would say with the antics that were displayed down there. Gave us one of the most hateable teams in college football history in 2010 rendition of the Auburn Tigers with Cameron Newton and Nicholas Fairley and all those guys, and then just pulled rabbit out of hats and stuff that happened in 2013. So, I mean, really, and then you have 04, 10, and 13, and then outside you take those 3 seasons away, decent success from like 83 on into like 88, you know, about a little 5-year run with Pat Dye. But outside of that, and not a program in the most recent years who has had just a bunch of success. But hey, we'll get into that. We'll get into our hate of Auburn. But this is a big game. Still getting used, Clark, to us playing it in September.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy.
It is weird.
That's crazy.
This
is a game that seemed like it should be in the middle of November. I think that's the way the Lord intended it to be. But hey, it's not. It's not. So we're just going to deal with it. We're going to deal with it.
Going to have to deal with it.
That's right.
Let's talk about this past Saturday in Athens.
Go.
Our 4th straight, not road game, home game versus UAB. The Blazers came into town, and Georgia won in, I would like to say, dominating fashion. I mean, it was 49-21. The final score, a little deceiving. I think they got a late touchdown against our, 3rd string. We helped them out with a couple of fumbles and just it's kind of a sloppy game, to be quite honest, but we'll get into that in just a second. Let's talk about the game day atmosphere first.
Hit it, Cole.
Adam, the stadium is starting to fall apart.
Yeah.
And you may say, well, what the heck do you mean by that?
It is. Well, you know, we were first confirmed that with our friend Rick Burkhalter at kickoff right there, that he had a slab of concrete. Like
probably that big.
Yeah, that big. That was like, it's just there. Just there. He didn't bring it to the stadium. It was just there, you know? And first, that's a safety hazard for if the object is falling, or also if one fan, especially fans in some states and capacity, gets a block of concrete, what can be done with that against an opposing fan or the coach or what have you not, ref or whoever on the field. So, you know, that's just not an object you want to see go flying through the air, right?
Sure.
It'd be in the hands of onlookers, correct?
A Tennessee fan.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. I mean, you know, a slab of concrete, a chunk of it, will hurt worse to the head than a bottle of mustard.
Yeah,
one would say.
Certainly,
you know,
certainly.
So that's one thing there. So we saw that. I was like, that's interesting. So Rick did the proper thing and threw it in the trash can. You know, that way that people can't get a hold of it. So we're like, man, we're going to have to start wearing hard hats in the stadium, Clark. You know, just to protect the noggin from getting hit by any unidentified objects that may fall abruptly. And you know, then later on as the game started, I looked down at my foot. There was a bolt. There was about a half inch bolt.
Adam,
right there.
Did you happen to wear some work clothes and that just fell out, or
no? It just was there, just there. I don't know where it came from. The seats, whatever. So, you know, we already know what's going on with Stadium and Coliseum. But Sanford Stadium, man, I mean, God bless her. She's getting to the century mark.
Yeah,
she's getting to the century mark in age, man. I mean, heck, this year would be the 94th year of her glorious lifespan and what she has seen. I mean, a lot of good stuff there at that stadium. But, you know, those are two things that are concerning, two things you don't expect to see when you're looking down around the premises, you know. And so, that's one thing that we'll give everybody an update. Also, there's some stickiness going on in our section, Clark. Like there's some sticky concrete, sticky seats, and we have actually addressed it with the University of Georgia Stadium staff, the Silver Dogs and what have you, everybody, and just said, hey man, we need to get this clean. Right. You know, I mean, we need to get this
pressure
clean.
washer
out.
We
have time to get this stuff clean, and now we have a full week. So get it out, get the stickiness out, and make it a better fan-friendly environment for everybody. Correct?
Yes.
So
do you think it's the culmination of like frozen lemonade being spilled?
Laffy Taffies, sour gummy worms,
Jolly Ranchers.
I mean, what have you not? Yeah, if you have a mixture of that, possibly, but you're going to have that in every venue. I mean, you know, in high schools across America, they bring in the prisoners on Friday nights for. They do. I mean, it's true. It's part of the deal going to jail, man. You're going to clean up Friday night concession stands, right? So, I mean, this is the University of Georgia. Can we not get somebody to come in and clean up the stadium bleachers of the concrete? So, you know, that's what I'm going to have. What I had to do. So, my wife was at one of the games. Of course, this had happened, and she didn't want to sit on a sticky bleacher, which I don't blame her. I plop right down on it. I don't care. You know, I got my PFG shorts on, and it just had a little sticky stuff to them or whatever, what have you not. It's not going to ruin my time, but I understand the women folk might not want to sit in any unidentified sticky material that could be on the bleachers, and I stand the whole game, right? And so Kelsey does not. So I had the bright idea. I went up to the concession stand, Clark. Yeah. And I went to the concession stand and said, hey, man, can you give me 2 trash bags? I know it's weird. It's a weird deal, man, but we've got some sticky stuff on the seat, and we just need to sit on the trash bag. That's what I can. He said, no problem, man. So I said, so he came back, and he gave me 2 white trash bags. I said, thanks, brother. So we were able to spread them out and fix, put a Band-Aid on the problem. Right. Put a Band-Aid on the problem, but this has been 2 weeks in a row that the stickiness is not going away. Mother Nature is not, it's not going, so you're going to have to get some acetone or something, put on those seats to get that stuff out.
Well, and the thing is, row 60 sits right under an awning. So it's not like when it does rain that kind of clears out and wipes it away. So,
but I mean, this is stuff, man. Some liquid. You need some alcohol, some acetone, or something. To let some stuff acidify and eat that stuff up, man. I mean, this is some rough stuff. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it is just candy or what have you not. But it's definitely something that's pretty stout, man. And it's been lingering for quite a while.
You say something funny. You say, what have you not? I think it's just what have you. But I like the fact that you add in what have you not. Like
I think people have been listening long enough to know I'm going to make up whatever. And
that's right.
I'm going to say whatever comes out of the brain, and maybe my brain and my mouth don't go in sync at times. And then maybe I try to sound intelligent what I say, so I make up words, and I don't care what anybody says about it. I mean,
you got to take it or leave it
across, and people can accept it with what I'm saying or not, because I'm going to get on a roll. I got the microphone, and you got the microphone, and the microphone's going to pick up and record whatever comes out of my mouth.
Exactly. Oh man, we don't edit. I've never even edited any of these podcasts in terms of trimming it up.
Raw, baby.
Yeah. Oh man. Hey, it was a gorgeous night though. Lots of fans, Adam. I was very impressed by the amount of fans.
Too, Clark,
we did. We sure did,
man. It was nice. It was the first game we were able to tailgate. Me with the little one now. I don't get to go to Sanford Stadium and spend 14 hours there every Saturday anymore, but that's okay. That's part of growing and maturing. So at this point in time, I had a lot of good football on Saturday. So I was able to break out the old generator, and I tell you, the tailgate tent I got one of these things. And if you have a tailgate tent, man, you need to get one of these deals that's got Velcro straps on it that you kind of can make a wall on one side to block out the sun. And this particular one is red with a G on it. And it looks great. I got a picture of it. We'll share on the YouTube. And also the generator, I talked a couple of years about generators, Clark.
Right.
I don't know if any diehard Row 60 fans remember we went through generators and any suggestions. And
we sure did.
I've talked about I went with a brand from the Sam's Club. I did not go with the Honda 2000i or whatever it is now. That's a $2,500 or anything, So I'm more of a bargain guy, dude.
Right.
But Harbor Freight really doesn't give you a good. The Predator might be good, but the Predator is a ripoff of the Honda and still got a decent price tag on it. But this generator from the Sam's Club, man, I mean, everything was immaculate on it. And this is in its 3rd year of operation, man. And I was just looking at it. I just sat there, man, really just enjoying the breeze, watching football. And I would just kick back and I would look at it. And it's got on the face of it, the front, it's got the digital readout of the green light fuel bars,
right,
where it's at. And that bad boy, Clark, from 10 o'clock on to 6:30, stayed, I think it dropped 1 bar.
Wow.
1 bar. I mean,
Nice.
the fuel consumption for it, it's great.
Very
just
efficient.
Hummed along, man. Very efficient. And one of these deals, man, that it just kind of just idles. It's not a loud noise, and it's just a really good generator. And every time I pull that generator out, my wife makes fun of me because I brag on it like it's my child every single time, because I'm so proud to buy what it's doing for us,
right?
And other uses too, man. So anyway, I mean, just another good job by our generator.
Yeah.
I mean,
heck yeah.
Good day.
Hey,
anyway.
Also the dish. You brought the dish out.
Yeah,
Adam
dish,
is very adamant about pulling out the dish as opposed to just streaming the game.
I don't want to stream the game. The part of the tailgating experience is standing on one foot, putting one arm around the other, closing an eye, and getting that dish tilted right. Finding the satellites in the sky. Find the azimuth, the compass reading the direction of what degree, latitude, and longitude we should be at, where our satellite is for the place you're at. And I don't want one of these fancy little globes that sit on a hood. I want a tripod with a dish on it. And I'm going to get that bad boy, and I'm going to get out there in the middle of the road or wherever I have to go to get a good signal. I love reading it and the satisfaction of when you're getting that signal strength, man, and those little bars, and you go 97, 98, 98, 99, 99, 99. You're like, you hit it, man.
Yeah.
So you're there and you crank it up, and it's just a good feeling, and I don't want that feeling to go away, and I don't like the buffer. I hate buffering. I hate buffering. Now, buffering is something that millennial Gen Z generation has just gotten accustomed to, and I don't like that, Clark. Because of the convenience of just streaming is just it's ridiculous. People don't want to work for good quality, and you don't get good quality with a stream because it's always going to buffer. I don't care if you live in the middle of New York City, down in freaking Manhattan or wherever, where you would think Wi-Fi would just be outstanding. It's still going to buffer. It's still going to buffer, and it's still going to let you down when you need it the most, like when you're watching college football.
Yeah.
So therefore, I am a big proponent of just put in the work to set up your dish correctly.
Okay.
You know?
That's fair. That's fair. And I will say one thing that the dish has an advantage over the streaming,
right,
whatever, is you can change channels so much quickly, so much quicker than you would be able to if you're streaming. And let's say you've got a game on ABC, but then there's another great game on CBS.
Exactly.
Well, you have to switch, you've got to switch. You got to go back to the homepage and switch.
Yeah, man. So, once you get the satellite dialed in, man, it's like, for instance, at the noon slate, we watched Florida State Clemson, and we watched Auburn and A&M. I just hit the previous button. One go to a commercial, previous back to the other.
Yep.
When I get pretty good in timing TV timeouts, at the 2-minute mark or wherever, 2-minute mark, hey, go back, boom, right, we're coming back in.
Right.
Coming back in. That takes a lot of practice and a lot of skill.
Experience,
to get to that point where you just know of when a game, you should switch back to the primary game because of just experience of knowing, you get a feel for it over the years of watching. So when you're rotating games like that, so that's just a gift the good Lord's gave me.
That is good, Adam.
And I'm proud of that fact. But anyway, it was a good day, man. We grilled some hot dogs. Our buddy Sammy J. Waller came and hung out with us. Got some good homemade chili, man. So I ate about 3 hot dogs at the tailgate.
Nice,
man. It was good. It was good. So just a good day of fellowship. Good, beautiful day. Good fall breeze, man. It's in the air. Let's go.
All right.
This time of year. Just living, man. Just LIVIN apostrophe living.
Living. Speaking of hot dogs, Adam, give us that weekly concession stand report.
I got a good concession stand report from a friend of the show here, Miss Whitney Murphy, who is in the AGL program that I'm in, the Advancing Georgia's Leaders in Agriculture and Forestry. That it's a 2-year program that we're in, and her family was at Sanford Stadium, Clark. Her husband Zach and 2 kids, and let me find it. I had it pulled up and it went away. This is from the Murphy family from Statesboro, Georgia. So Southeast Dogs, man. I mean, I love the Southeast Dogs and the South Georgia Dogs in general because they got a haul to come up to Sanford Stadium when they come, man. That's commitment. So a lot of good South Georgia Dogs friends we have down there. So the Murphy family's concession stand report. Clark, do you know where they were sitting?
Row 60.
Row 60. Section 116, row 60. So all of a sudden, the row 60 experience. So good on the Murphy family being at row 60. So from the view of their daughters, Katie Lynn, who is 8, and Hallie Murphy, who is 4.
Nice.
So, all right. So it said to set the stage, Hallie Murphy is quite the connoisseur of snacks. I'm proud of knowing the word connoisseur.
Good job, Adam.
Anyway, I just had to say that.
Yeah.
I should have just breezed through it, but I just had to point that out. Anyway, Hallie is only ever anywhere for the snacks. This is the child who will get stark raging mad if there is not sufficient butter on a frozen waffle. She was built for a concession stand report. So I already set the tone of what we're getting. I love that.
Yeah.
And it's also it's good to get the perception of the children. What their
view.
thoughts are. The view is that would that be the right word for it? Yeah, exactly.
Perspective.
So, perspective. That's what it is. Perspective. The first concession stand nearest our section we passed upon entering the stadium wasn't open. It said they would open that particular stand when the first quarter clock hit 10 minutes, which is just
that's weird.
Dumb. I don't understand that, but that's a good report. We need to go back and figure out the reasoning to why that is. I don't know if it's just thing they have to see gauge the crowd or whatnot, but anyway. To the food, hot dog, my favorite item on the list. A 9 of 10 hot soft bun, solid all beef flavor, like old Joe Chestnut said.
Yeah.
The way you would expect a ballpark hot dog to be. Love that. Popcorn, another bad review on the popcorn part. 4 of 10, that's less than 50%. Orville Redenbacher would be disappointed. It tastes like popcorn. That's about it. That's from her husband, Zach Murphy.
Okay.
With a brilliant something. I mean, just straight to the point. Just tells it like it is, man. Another just blunt point about the popcorn not being to the quality it needs to be in Sanford Stadium. Right. And when you disappoint Orville in the game of popcorn, man, you're not doing it right. That's the standard. Kirby Smart's standard in college football right now. Orville Redenbacher's standard and popping popcorn. So, again, it's just something that's not good. Thank you, Zach, for that. The pretzel, a lot of mixed reviews on the pretzel we've had in years past with the salt ratio and everything. I for one, like it, but it can get a little bit too salty. 7 to 10, I think that's a fair take. Sure. I'd say that about a 70% out of 100. Sufficiently salty and warm. So, again, the Murphy family is commenting on the saltiness of the pretzel again, too. That's been a common theme with the pretzel. Is it too salty for some, not enough salt, or, or the perfect blend? Sufficiently salty and warm when I bought it. If you kids, if you know, a little dry though. So for the kids, I'm assuming she means that it's a little bit dry for them, and I understand that. Would have been better with a Chinese cup or mustard or a cheese.
I was like, what? No, a Chinese cup.
I got 2 cracks running down my phone. Look like Chinese right here. But a cheese cup or mustard, yes. Chinese.
Or chocolate. Hey, that's
a cheese cup. Yeah, or chocolate.
Chocolate would be amazing.
But I agree with that, man. You gotta have some mustard or a cheese cup with a good pretzel. So 7 to 10, that's a fair. I like that. Candy, the kids 10 to 10. Sour Patch Kids, Skittles. I think that's something you could always go to a gas station or the Sanford Stadium concession stands or the movie theater, get some Ike and Mike or something. They're not going to disappoint you. Some of those pre-manufactured candy that is there, not having to be made on the premises. Clark, that you get them from the plant on down that they have been put in production for several years, and you're going to always have what you expect, right?
Yes,
more times than not. So that speaks for itself. Souvenir cup Coke, 9 of 10, and the new design on the cups are really nice and had good ice drink ratio. I love that. I hate when there's not enough ice, especially the good quality ice now that we get at Sanford Stadium. So that's good. The Sprite was a little flat. I see that more and more with Sprite these days. I don't know if it's just because people aren't drinking Sprite as much, so it's pretty stagnant in the machines these days, and kind of gets that way. And people don't really gear towards making sure the quality of a Sprite and these carbonated beverages and these machines are to the standard of where a Coke Zero, or Coca-Cola Classic is,
right?
Or Diet Coke, So anyway, extra points for the souvenir cups that have a lid. Talked about that at Mercedes-Benz a couple years back. That was big. Glad to see we've adopted that at Sanford Stadium for parents that have kids. When you do not need to turn over a Coke and it spill on the 72-year-old man in front of you. That can lead to some confrontation,
especially mid-game,
right? So I mean, at mid-game. So that's something that is good on them. So I agree. Thank you for pointing that out, Whitney. And this is my favorite right here. Candied almonds, covered them in and sugar, which made them delicious. They were served kind of warm and crunchy. I agree. I've had the almonds, the pecans, everything, man, and the glazed pecans. Something that you get at the county fair. Something you get at Dollywood if you've ever been to Dollywood. This is the time of year. October, November is the best time of year to eat a glazed almond or pecan. So I like that. I think that's a little key, a little hidden, little booth that's there that you can get in your Sanford Stadium concession stand experience. So go check out, man. Get you this October now. It's getting a little bit cooler, especially the next home game, Kentucky. Go get you some glazed almonds or pecans. Murphy family, great job on the concession stand reports, Clark. I thought that was pretty good,
very
thorough. And I think what we're doing is we're building a lot of data of a lot of different people giving their opinion, and a lot of it's the same. We'll
have enough to actually make a report and send it off to the university at some point or another.
Yeah,
we'll have literal
thesis.
Yes, we got to develop a thesis, Adam,
and let them know what the people want, and maybe they can get us a part of the development team, and how we make the experience of others better,
right,
in the concession stand realm. So that's something that they
do. This number
okay,
right
all right, tighten that bad boy up. All right, good deal. Thank you, Zach, Whitney, and their 2 daughters for a wonderful report. Glad y'all have fun in Sanford Stadium. DGD's right there. Go Dogs. So.
Go Dogs. Well, we also want to thank a few more people. Patreon, shout-outs. Here we go. Rick Burkhalter, who we just mentioned earlier. He's a row 60 guy in Section 108, sits right beside us. And then Jackson Hudson. Adam, you know Jackson, right?
Yes. Know Jackson. He is him and his family are chicken growers.
Oh, nice.
Chicken farmers with the company I work for, and I go to their farm a good bit. Great people, DGDs, man. And again, Rick, he had the whole family there.
He sure did.
Had his daughters and everybody last night. It's a good family game for Rick, and it was great chatting with him last night. And Jackson's a good guy too. So we appreciate the support from them and each and every one of you, man.
Well, thank you all so much for joining Patreon. You are helping us create a community of fellow dogs all across the country. If you're not on Patreon yet and you want to join, just visit patreon.com/row60, or you can download the Patreon app and search Row 60. It's only $5 a month. And every single penny will help us to create more content for all of our listeners.
Yes.
So here we go. Clark's Fun Facts. I've got some fun facts, Adam. I've had to do some research. And this is some common knowledge now. If you've been on Facebook or Instagram in the past few days, you've probably seen this. In his 100th game at Georgia, Kirby has broken Bear Bryant's SEC record for win percentage through 100 games. And Nick Saban's mark for most on-field wins through 100 games at an SEC school. And I believe the total is 86, maybe, total wins Kirby's had in the
85. 15, baby.
85 15, that's right.
15. 85 15, man.
Golly, that's insane.
It's unbelievable. The company's in there, Spurrier, Saban, Bryant, man. And you know how humble Kirby is and not wanting to get caught up in the media and talking trash, what you're seeing more and more coaches do these days, man. He just said, I must have had a weaker schedule than they did.
Yeah.
You know, even though, you know, his championships were won in playoffs, having to have that extra playoff game that 3 seasons were in there when he was in the playoffs, man. So, unbelievable that he did that. You know, Saban, when it's with him, it's talking about him in Alabama, not his first head coaching job. Yeah. Same with Spurrier. Same with Paul Bear Bryant, Clark.
And Philip Fulmer, I think.
Philip Fulmer. Yeah, well, Philip Fulmer, that would have been his first head coaching job at Tennessee. Because he stabbed Johnny Majors in the back. Just terrible human being. Terrible human being. Got old Johnny Majors, who was a respectable guy, even by Tennessee standards. And that was a bad deal in the early 90s, how Philip Fulmer got him out. But anyway, what Kirby's done is impressive. His first job being in Athens, head coaching job, what he has done. That's what I said. I look back when I read that. This man has been a heck of a ride. When he was hired in December of 2015, Clark, the goal was to be Alabama.
Oh, yeah.
Period.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it was period to be like that. And a lot of people say, we can't say that. You know, you're never going to see that done again. But wow, what's happened in these few years, man, has been unbelievable. Ever since 2017 season, there's not been a year, Clark. COVID year doesn't count. Football don't count that year.
No.
But there's not been a year where we haven't gone into the first weekend in December with national championship aspirations, man. We've ended the regular season every year in 17, 18, 19, 21, 22 with dreams and hopes of winning a national championship. Yeah. And 2 of them to capitalize on. And this year's looking like it's going to be the same. And I think as a fan base, you can't ask for any better than that.
Nope. Georgia is the only Let me emphasize that. The only SEC team to be currently ranked in the AP top 10. If I had enough time, I'd go back and actually see the last time there wasn't 2 or more SEC teams in the top 10, but I don't have time. So we're just going to stick with that fact.
Yeah.
And then my last one here. Georgia holds the longest streak in the nation for weekly appearances in the top 5, the AP poll top 5. We've been in the AP poll top 5 37 straight weeks. We've been ranked there, and Michigan is next with 19 straight weeks. So
wow, almost
double the time of Michigan. That's insane to me. It just shows the dominance these past 2 years under the Kirby Smart. Under Kirby Smart, it's just been amazing, Adam. We keep saying this time and time again. It just keeps getting better because we keep winning and we keep winning and we keep winning.
It's amazing. How many is that now? 21 straight.
Yep, 21 straight.
The longest win streak in the nation by far. And had to pinch yourself, man. I never would have thought that we would be in a position where Georgia's won 21 straight football games, back-to-back national championships. I'll never get tired of saying that and bringing up that we are the back-to-back national champions, man. And 4-0 right now. 4-0. I don't care who the opponent was on the schedule. They every person that Georgia plays against still ties their shoes the same way and puts their pants on one leg at a time. Exactly. They're going to try to beat Georgia, and they're going to give Georgia their absolute best every time they're on the field, and Georgia has to receive everybody's best effort that they play and will going forward, and we'll talk about that more. But just tip of the hat, man, to this program and what Kirby Smart and staff has done. Mm-hmm. We are blessed as a fan base, and I have to pinch myself.
Adam, I don't think you've ever actually pinched yourself.
I have pinched myself thinking about it.
You say it now.
I have pinched myself thinking about it. It is unreal. It is unbelievable, man. I love it, and I'm thankful for every second of it.
Me too. Georgia's offense, let's just hop right into it, versus UAB. You know, Adam, there were a lot of really good play calls last night. I think in the past few games you could argue, okay, Mike Bobo may not be calling his best game, but last night I don't think you can. If you know football,
that's right.
You really can't complain about Mike Bobo and the offensive game call or game. What
plan?
Game
plan.
Anything. That's what I was like.
Anything. The plan, the play calling, anything you can't complain about.
And there were a couple plays, especially those deep balls, we just didn't connect on. And there were several more where just we didn't execute right. But the play calling I thought was amazing. Let's talk about Carson Beck. Yeah, let's talk about Carson Beck.
One thing I want to say real quick, because I'm tired of still hearing Bobo chatter.
Right.
Who does people think that Georgia should have went and got after Todd Monken, man? Like, I mean, if you're gonna complain about Todd Monken, it's not like you let go of Monken to get Bobo, and we're just keep beating a dead horse. But somebody's got to stand up for it and say something about it.
Right.
I mean, you hear everything, Bobo this, Bobo that, Bobo that. Let's think about it with reasonable, just thought process, man. Alabama just hired Tommy Rees. Would you rather have Tommy Rees or Mike Bobo leading your offense? Give me Mike Bobo. You know what I mean? I mean, look at the SEC offensive coordinator hires and the track record of all of them. And, man, give me Bobo. Give me Bobo. And again, Clark, the offense, I thought, did a great job, did with his ass, and it's going to keep progressing.
It will.
Into the year.
Sure
man.
will. Carson went 22 for 32,
300.
338 yards, 3 touchdowns, and he also got a quarterback sneak for a touchdown, so 4 total. I mean, he's improving. He really is. And there's still sometimes he does look hesitant, but then there are other times, Adam, and I don't remember what it was, who he threw it to. I think it may have been Marcus Rosemary-Jack Saint. He hit a guy on a curl route. It's probably about 15 yards. I think it was around third down is long.
Yeah.
And he ripped it. He ripped it. And he threw the ball with a lot of confidence. And we're going to need that going forward. The deep ball, still, you got to put a little more touch on some of them, but he will find that timing. He'll find that rhythm.
And there was one that was a good ball that was dropped. Yep. And I mean, you're going to have, but hey, the plays are there. Mm-hmm. The plays are there, and you see the confidence is when he's stretching the ball downfield, man. And you see the confidence in the pocket. A little bit more quicker release now he's getting to. And I think in the first half there was a couple times where he had a sack where he sidestepped in the pocket and went into the end, I think, crashing down. When more he could have balled it a little bit more time, but just stepping up in the pocket and either taking off through that hole in the middle of the A gap or getting by some more time to step up and make a good throw. And he did that in the second half. You saw that adjustment was made there with him. And I've always said I think his footwork's there, and I think he's doing what I just think. As fans, you just start comparing everything to what Stetson Bennett was last year. And you can't help by human nature not be guilty of that and think of a fifth-year Stetson Bennett. And then especially in the 2022, Stetson Bennett was phenomenal.
He was.
Unreal. Yeah. And, 21, all what everybody – we don't need a history lesson. We talked about it on the show. But in 22, when he knew he was the guy, it was just another level of quarterback play that I don't think we could fully appreciate until now. But – people have got to stop looking and comparing this team. And I think this needs to be the message of this podcast, Clark, because I'm guilty of it. I think all of us as Georgia fans are looking through it through the lens of what 21 and 22 were on both sides of the football. And that doesn't mean that this team won't be great. And that doesn't mean that this team cannot win the expectations of a national championship this year. That doesn't mean it. But you can't compare them to that. You got to compare them to what you see in 2023 across the college football landscape. And Carson Beck in his 4th start, I think, is doing what we've asked for him. And I'm proud to have him, and I don't really know if there's a quarterback in the SEC that be, I head and shoulder want to have more than Carson Beck. I didn't think Jackson Dart looked great. I mean, then you got a Spencer Rattler who's played and started a lot of football games, man. I mean, he's probably, I think he's the best quarterback in the SEC right now. It's crazy to think. You could argue Spencer Rattler probably
But I'd still rather have
Carson Beck for what he's doing. And I also like the fact that I'm going to say I think Bobo is a great quarterback developer.
Yeah,
possibly better than what Monken was as a quarterback. I'm not talking. I'm talking about as a pure quarterback developer, Clark. And I think as the more time that he spends with Carson Beck, the better he is going to get. And I'm riding the Bobo Carson Beck train until the very end. And if it falls off the cliff and you could rationally say that it was an issue at the end of the season, then I'll eat my crow for it. But right now, I'm waiting for it because it's going to continue to get better. And I was very pleased with the offense did. I was very pleased with that. And the injuries, man, on both sides of the football. We'll start on offense. You still don't have Ladd McConkey back. I have no clue when he's going to come back. If he does come back this year. Who knows? I think
he'll come back.
Hey, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. I mean, I think he will, but you never know with Kirby, man. It could be week to week till the playoffs.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
But
knowing what he's done in the past, he'll probably keep him till like he did George Pickens, like he did AD Mitchell last year.
Who knows?
He'll probably keep him for the SEC championship.
Who knows? We don't
play.
know, but that's just how tight sealed Butts-Mehre building is. That people like me and you sure as heck ain't gonna know. But Amarius Mims, you know, he'll be out for weeks now. Just had surgery, and that's a hurt. That's hurts on the line, man. You want to see some more consistent play out of the offensive line, I feel like. But Blaskey's hurt. Mims is banged up. Who knows who's playing that's banged up? You know, trying to find that rotation. I think they will get better because the talent is there as all progresses.
Well, Brock Bowers, Adam, I'm convinced he is not a real human being. I think he is an alien of some sort, maybe some sort of a robot.
Yeah. He's still banged up, too.
Yeah.
He's been banged up all year, too.
Listen to this. 9 receptions last night, 120 yards, and 2 touchdowns. He didn't even touch the ball, he didn't rush the ball at all.
There wasn't no jet sweep or anything, too.
He now has 2,000 career receiving yards. He also passed Tavares King for touchdown receptions with 22 career receptions. I mean, he's only 4 games into his junior year.
As a tight end.
As a tight end. Yeah, it's unbelievable. He has had 8 games, with at least 100 receiving yards. Once again, we're not even including the end arounds, those kinds of touchdowns. He has had 100 receiving yards, 8 different games in his career, and his 7th game with 2 touchdown catches at least.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy is unbelievable.
I mean, you're not going to see anything like it again. You're going to see, talented guys like Lawson Lucky when he comes back. I think the Bulldog Nation is going to be introduced to how good he is. But for what he is athletic-wise, being able to catch the ball, get the ball in space, and just break tackles and make stuff happen, you're not going to see that out of a tight end and combined with his blocking ability.
Right.
And I think it's something that we need to enjoy the rest of this year watching him play because it's our generation's Herschel Walker.
Agreed.
And it is just a person that does not come around all the time. It's generational talent, man.
Yep.
And I love how humble he is and a team guy that he is, man. And something that I hope he continues to get healthy and get to 100% because I don't think he has been the first few weeks of the year. But we saw flashes of what he is. What he is, and when you target and get him the ball, man, and that's comforting, especially when you're breaking in a new quarterback, is when you got a weapon like number 19
Agreed.
out there.
Completely agreed. We had 9.9 yards per pass last night. That's amazing. I think we're starting to get a lot of guys.
Can you ask better than that?
No, you can't.
I don't think you can.
We're getting a lot of guys, Adam, too, involved in the passing game, even without Ladd McConkey, which I would argue is wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just me. Yeah. Some would say Dom. Some would maybe say Rob. I think it's Ladd. If we're talking about true wide receiver, obviously our number 1 target has been and probably will be Brock Bowers.
And Ladd from a slot guy position, too. But, but, I mean, what a great addition Rah and Dominic Lovett's been, man. I thought Lovett had a great game. Rosemy is just a guy that's been out there, has been can make some good plays, man, and always a guy, a good route runner and a good guy we've talked about. Is just great hands, I think. And really you could throw the ball anywhere in the vicinity around him. He could get up and snatch it. That's what I've noticed with him, man. And very consistent, just a great wide receiver room.
Agreed.
And I think that's something that you'll see them improve. You'll see them improve on perimeter blocking on the outside, man, and even more so explosive plays. But I saw their separation downfield from them. There was a few times where balls were either dropped or weren't the best throw, but it's there. It's there, and it's going to and they're going to hit it more and more. And we've seen them connect vertically downfield, and we've talked about it again, but it's just football 101, man. When you have that threat, then they can't stack the box. They can't cheat those safeties up. When you have that threat of always being able to beat them deep, get behind that third level, and that makes it a whole lot more easier on your offensive line and your running backs to establish a running game. And that's what you eventually want to do in a Kirby Smart football program, no matter who the offensive coordinator is get to the fourth quarter and impose your will by running the football.
Oh, yeah. And I think, too, once you get Ladd back, you're going to have that deep threat. And I don't think we've really had it yet, honestly. I mean, you got Arian, and Arian he's a speedster. But I don't know. I'm telling you, Ladd is a lot quicker than people give him credit for.
Yeah.
Another guy that just continues to improve, to impress, Dejon Edwards. It's good seeing him get some good touches. 12 carries for 66 yards, 2 touchdowns. One more thing I want to add about the offense right quick. We did a great job, Adam, of converting on third downs. That's something we struggled there a little bit the first 3 games. We improved last night. Of course, you don't want to get into 13 different third down positions. But we went 10 for 13. That's a pretty good percentage.
Oh, absolutely.
So.
Absolutely, man. But having Dejon Edwards back and the guy that we talked about, you're going to have somebody in the running back room is going to have to step up and be the guy saying, hey, I'm taking the majority of the totes. You can't take me off the field. I'm going to be the guy who gets the ball the most in that running back room and get high percentage and high positive yardage for you, and that's what Dejon does. I don't care if it's off the outside, if it's a counter, it's a draw, whatever. He's going to go and he's going to get positive. That's what I like about him, man. Is even when it's not there on the draw and the A gap, he's still being able to at least fall far, get you positive yardage. You know, 1st and 10, make it 2nd and 7 or so.
Sure.
But also a guy that can hit a hole, man, and burst through that first level with great bursts. So I'm excited to see where his play's at, and somebody we can't afford to lose. I think that's going to be the guy on offense that we're going to look back and say, I mean, yeah, you can't lose number 19, but you definitely, I think right after that, you can't lose number 30.
Yeah, nor 86.
Yes, and knock on wood.
Yes, because Dylan Bell, I'm telling you, and we talked about this last night as we were watching him, he can fly, and he has the most, he's just quick, right?
Acceleration when he gets the ball.
Yeah, and there's a difference between speed and quickness. I mean, speed is, or maybe it's, speed and quickness. Speed is when you can just, it's like your top speed. How fast can you run? Quickness is how fast can you get to that speed.
Exactly, man. And I mean, he just looks like he's shot out of a cannon right when he gets the ball and goes through the first level, man. And you know who he reminds me of, and it might be a bad comparison, but it's just what I think of is I think somebody who had that, it was good, was pre-ACL tear in 2013, Keith Marshall.
Ooh,
like freshman 2012, Keith Marshall, man, had that just, that, I mean, you just saw that burst, And I mean, of course, you've had the talented running backs, Michelle, Chubb, Gurley, and all those guys, Swift or whatnot, but it just seems like, to me, he kind of reminds me of what Marshall looked like before his ACL tear, his true freshman year, especially in 2012. I don't know. Maybe not, but to me it seems like it. So one of those guys, man, if he's got a hole, he'll hit it. He's gone.
Yeah,
he's gone. Yeah. And that's something that I think that I love the fact we've talked about it too, that later on you'll see that he's going to be a guy, obviously, as a receiver, who's going to come in that's take what Kenny McIntosh did so well last year for this offense, to be able to catch the ball out in the flats, man, and get some open field and pick up some positive yardage that way. So definitely a guy who can catch the ball out of the backfield and make things happen there and be a threat and something that the defense is going to have to count for again when he's on the field. So a lot of good got a lot of good tools in the toolbox here, Clark, for Mike Bobo and staff to work with, and I'm excited. I'm excited about the progression. I know we sound like a broken record every week saying it, but it's the truth. To me, it is the truth. It isn't just pumping, you know, rainbows and butterflies and sunshine, all this stuff. It's truly this what I see, and that's my opinion. And I honestly think that the right way of looking at it, that's it.
Yeah. Offensive line, I thought played great last night. If you're going to grade them this season, you know, I mean, I think they've underperformed. But last night, I thought they picked it up a little bit, especially in the second half, and I think we did a good job run blocking. Well, and you got to move. You know, losing Mims hurts definitely, but I think Xavier trusted a pretty good job filling in for him. And then you got Dylan Fairchild starting as a guard now. You know, I mean, they'll get better.
I'm telling you, man, a group that's been decimated with injuries, and we don't know who all was even banged up and playing, like I alluded to earlier. But, you know, you lose Mims, that's tough. And I don't think Blasky played last night, did he? So, I mean, a lot of guys out there that you're going to have to plug and play and find the right group that Coach Searles is going to have to and Coach Bobo are going to have to see. But, man, I don't remember a time in the month of September where I thought, man, maybe the Sam Pittman era, that this offensive line just looks outstanding. Last year we were sitting here, Clark, talking about, man, this offensive line, you know, are they? Yeah. I mean, truly we were. And the year before, and with Matt Luke, we were doing that too. And by the end of the year, man, the right guys were on the field and the depth kicked in, even if you did lose some guys with injury. And, you know, we were very pleased with the product that was on the field there. So, is that going to happen this year? Yeah, I like to tend that way with what's in that room, the talent in that room. But of course, it's not, and the recruiting hadn't been up to the standards of what it was back those years ago. So that might be an unfair comparison, but I still think this is going to be a very, very good offensive line when all is said and done. But I guess I'm not worried about it yet, because it's been something that I think that we've done this every September. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but I feel like that's something that's been a talking point.
It's offensive line.
The first third part of the season.
Yeah. They will gel,
but
for
you're
sure.
exactly right. I thought it was a good night, man. And
Georgia's defense. Adam, I first want to shout this guy out, Xavier Swarry. He is just playing out of his mind right now. He's got such quick sideline to sideline speed
that I didn't notice.
Yeah,
well, going into the season,
yeah,
think about him like watching him play previously.
And he's done such a good job. He's filling in, I think, for Smile. I don't know if Smile is still banged up or what. He's getting there though. I think that Kirby's kind of working him back in, and he's doing a lot more rotating.
Sideline to sideline speed.
Right. Yeah, he is too. But he's doing a lot more rotating than I thought he was, especially in that middle linebacker position. And then obviously outside linebackers, you got guys like Darius Smith coming in for Chaz, and
I love when he's on the field.
Me too.
I love when he's on the field. I think he's going to be good. Him and Marvin Jones Jr. and some of these guys. I want to see them develop and just somebody just step up right there. I think if there's a weakness in this defense, it is I don't like how much that they're able to get the edge and breaking containment.
Yeah.
That running backs, quarterbacks scrambling, buying time, anything like that that we're seeing on the edge perimeter play. We'll get to that. I want to say something about that here later on, but go ahead with what you got.
Well, I was just saying, defense, we're still working out some kinks, right? I think we're playing well. Last night, it's not to the standard, though, that we've seen in the years past, which is just kind of surprising to me. I don't think it's anything where you sound the alarms, oh, my gosh, we're going to stink this year. No. It's just not to the standard we've been playing. Now, they may not have had a good game last night. I think moving forward, you've got to start playing better defensively.
Yeah.
Kirby knows that, obviously. These guys know it. I mean, this is not anything new to them. I don't know.
Maybe Clark, I've been guilty of saying this could be the most talented Georgia defense ever.
I did too.
And I said it because you're looking at it on paper in the offseason, and you're looking at these recruits. The secondary is just littered with talent, man. And then you're like, the defensive line, there's not the Jordan Davis, there's not the Jalen Carter. Maybe we were too red and black glasses thinking that, but look at the experience, the Stackhouse, the Brensons, the Walthowers, all these guys have played so much football, man. Then you get the next wave, like the Jalen Carter, possibly Jordan Hall, coming in and progressing. I'm not saying that the defensive line is not going to be elite by the end of the year, but it's definitely not what we've seen the past 2 years. And I think, but that is still very good. And again, we have to look at this team. And I've been guilty on this podcast of not doing it. But I'm going to be here to say on this episode and going into week 5 of the year, we cannot no longer view this Georgia football team like we compare it to 21-22, compare it to the rest of the landscape in college football. And when I compare this defense to the rest of the landscape in college football, Clark, it could still be definitely the best defense in the Southeastern Conference, but also the best defense in the nation and one of the better defensive lines in the nation as well. And and that's the thing, man, is you have got to have, and we said it from the beginning, elite defensive line, but in the trenches on both sides of football. But we're talking about defensive line play to win SEC and national championships, man. And a lot of guys play football, and some guys banged up there too.
I think too. Yeah, it's just we have so many injuries right now, and some stuff is more serious than others. But I will say, we need 22 back pretty badly.
Yeah, man.
Javon Bullard is just a difference maker, point blank, period. I mean, he really does attack downfield, and that's where you were talking about the edge, right? That's where we've seen guys like Lewis Seen in the past, Javon Bullard, even Christopher Smith. Man, they come downhill, Richard LeCount, they fly downfield, and they make those tackles, and you don't get those 5, 10, 15-yard gains outside on the perimeter when those guys are in. And I'm not saying we don't have talent there. We've obviously, we're beating a dead horse if we keep talking about that, but yeah, I think 22. He's a different breed,
and he's the guy you want to have. Exactly right. And piggybacking on that statement, Clark, what you're seeing offenses do now more with this Georgia defense and the identity it's established with this defensive front. I know I just said it might not be what we've seen obviously in 21-22, but still today it is a dominant defensive line and some playmakers on that defensive line. So what you're seeing offensive coordinators, and the offensive staffs going into the Georgia week is we got to get the ball out quicker. We are not going to be able with our offensive line and our front to just do traditional drop backs and be able to not and to be able to capitalize and move the ball doing that, because this defensive line will eat. So what do, Clark? You are running more. We saw South Carolina do it. We saw Trent Dilfer dialed up last night at UAB. Get the ball out quicker. Get the ball to the edge, the perimeter, man, and have your wide receivers block and see what can happen in space doing that. And you're seeing more mobile quarterbacks break containment, extending plays like that. So that's where somebody like Bullard is so good, is when they are doing that and doing those quick little bubble screens. He's able to come in there, crash, cause some disruption, get off a block where either he makes a tackle or they have to bounce it back behind the line of scrimmage. And his guys more 11 hats flying the football coming, that'll help them there. But that's the big thing, I think, with secondary cornerbacks and stuff. we're going to have to do a better job with is not just cover, but getting off blocks and being physical, because you're going to see more and more of that is the way to attack this Georgia. So that's why I'm not concerned with everybody talks about quarterback hurries, or the pass rush. Where's the pass rush at? Why is it not there? It's because I just think these offensive coordinators are game planning that they have to their quarterback has to get rid of the ball quickly, man. And that is hard to have sack numbers, padded sack numbers or whatever on that. So,
well, the key to beating this Georgia defense past 3 years has been you've got to have an elite quarterback with elite receivers, and you got to have a pretty doggone good offensive line and a running game.
Yeah.
I mean, you pretty much have to have everything to beat Georgia, right?
That's right.
Ohio State, you saw what they did. They got close, and had they had Travion Henderson, it might have been a different game. I don't know.
That's a good point, Clark.
But you got
to have a little bit of balance, right? Even though you have the rule.
And then think about the 2021 Alabama team, right? Yeah. You had all those weapons. You had Jamison Williams. You had John Mechie. You had a running game. You had a good offensive line. They always do. You had a elite quarterback, right?
That's right.
That's what it takes to beat Georgia.
Same thing, 19 with Burrow. Right. Best of them all, man. And 2020 Alabama, you can talk about that. Even 2020 Florida, Clark, with Kyle Trask and some of them. At that point, that day, he was
called lightning in a bottle,
man. And, so, you have to have that to move the football in Georgia's defense. And that's something you're going to see these coordinators try to do is, I think, try to make good stuff happen out on the perimeter. And that's something that I think why open field tackling and getting off blocks and our secondary guys being disciplined doing that is going to be big. But that's one thing, man. If there wants, and I'm not worried about the defense. I think it will end up being one of the best defenses in the nation, if not the best, by the end of the year. But I guess you lose guys like number 4, number 29, and 88, especially number 4 and 29 from a leadership.
Oh, yeah.
Christopher Smith and Nolan Smith. But what you're seeing there, and I want to say this, I think a lot of people are talking about Jamin Dumas-Johnson, and everybody knows I love some Jamin Dumas-Johnson, that maybe, he's getting beat, not getting out sideline speed enough. But what I love about him, and I think he is the leader, I think he's the quarterback of the defense, Clark, and I think you got to have him on the field. To me, from the outside looking in, that's your leader. That's your guy.
Yeah.
That's your guy. That's your Nolan Smith. That was your Kobe Dean or whatnot, your quarterback of the defense, your middle linebacker there who gets everybody in position, has that defense clicking. So I'm thankful for him. I'm thankful for him.
Well, just one more note, and this is easier said than done. I can't go out there and play defense at a collegiate level, at any level for that matter.
Nope.
No, you probably could. You were a safety back in the day.
I couldn't play collegiate football. I might could play some. I could play some. I probably could play some flag football.
Okay.
some men 30-year-old flag league football down at the recreation field.
Well, anyway,
maybe.
And this is easier said than done, but I'd like to see just a little more aggression from our defense and just quicker awareness. That's one thing I think we've been spoiled by is just very quick. Hey, play recognition. This is what's happening, and that takes time to develop, and it will. No concern there, but. Just moving forward, that's what I like to see.
I agree, man. Don't break containment. Get to the flats. Make some plays out there. Don't let offenses get anything cheap with dumping the ball off, check down, or in the flats, picking up some positive yardage or quarterback breaking containment. Right. You work on that, man, we're good to go.
Good to go. Georgia's special teams, one thing that's not good to go, Adam. We've got to take better care of the football. On special teams, we lost 2 fumbles.
That's not good. That'll get you beat.
Right.
That will get you beat.
Exactly. Actually. One on kickoff return and another on punt return. You got to be careful. And thankfully, it was against UAB, right?
Right.
But if you go into Auburn and you do that kind of stuff, that stuff kills you.
No, you can't win championships doing that. Turning the ball over in general, you can't do it. You especially cannot turn the ball over in special teams, man.
It's a huge momentum swing.
Muse has been a great punt returner, Clark. Everybody makes mistakes, right? But I think he got a little too cute last night. That fumble, trying to make a little bit too much out of nothing that was there. And I think when a lot of people are guilty of that, especially guys like Muse who knows he can bust off plays. Just in my opinion, I do think that there's times where you just try to bounce around a little bit too much. And like I said, make something out of nothing that you set yourself up with vulnerability of getting that ball either popped out or stripped. And that's what happened last night. And I know Coach Muschamp, special teams, Kirby Smart, and everybody would be talking with him about that. But it's still an electric guy back there, and the guy I'm glad we had back there. But I just think that was a mistake on his part of really more so of just trying to do too much.
Right.
And losing that ball.
Peyton Woodring, I think he was 7 for 7. Yeah, he was 7 for 7 extra points. Don't know if he attempted a field goal, but hey, those extra points are big. We need every single one of them moving forward. That's all I have about Georgia special teams. Nothing.
Yeah, man.
Really else to say.
Yeah. I mean, again, just overall, can I just cap the game?
Sure.
What I thought, man. I mean, of course, one of these things that with Georgia, this rendition of it, again, compare it to 2023 Georgia. What you're seeing, do not compare it with the past 2 years. Compare it with the rest of college football out there. And I still feel very good about where Georgia is because, man, who out there in college football scares you right now? I mean, there's some teams you can talk about. I mean, yeah, there's a few. I mean, some of them are in the West Coast.
Yeah.
Washington and Oregon. Washington, they haven't played nobody, but dang, they've been beating the brakes off and putting up some points. And Oregon looks good, man. And I mean, there's some, but all in all, I feel like Georgia's in a good spot. The schedule just sets up so well for us to continue to get better each and every week. Georgia's going to get everybody's best shot. It's everybody's Super Bowl now. That's what us as fans are going to have to get used to. Is Georgia's in uncharted waters of being back-to-back national champions, ranked number 1, having that target on their back. Everybody's getting up for them. Like we've said, that's where the parades are going to be at on the Fridays on campuses when Georgia goes there. That's when everybody's wanting Georgia tickets to go see their team play Georgia because they want to be there in case there is an upset in a field storm. So that's just where our football program is. And as a fan, you love it because everybody hates Georgia now. So Georgia's going to get everybody's best shot. Nobody's going to just lay down for Georgia, right? Nobody's not going to show up when they play Georgia. Everybody's going to play above their level. I think coaches are going to coach above their level. When Georgia comes to town and they go to Sanford Stadium, man, and then you're also having a team that Kirby Smart says is probably the worst injury-plagued team at one time that he has had in his whole entire tenure here at Georgia Clark. And that says a lot. That says not even the ones we know about, others who are still playing have lingering injury. And you see that a lot of them just banged up. Debt kicks in, in November, right?
Right.
But now we're seeing it in September. So see what happens when these guys get healthy, man. Yeah. The ones we're blessed to get back, and hopefully old Lady Luck continues just to smile down on us and it doesn't plague us anymore. But that's stuff that could derail seasons, and it's tough. And everybody in college football deals with it. But Georgia, I think, can take the blow a little bit more because this would absolutely do most teams in and most programs in to have the injuries that Georgia has had to this point forward. But because of the depth that we have in the recruiting, you're not seeing it as bad, but it's still something that we've got to get our guys back, Clark, and get some of these playmakers back. And I mean, there's 6 starters out, Clark.
That's
six
insane.
Starters out that were on in. So
playmakers too. These guys aren't just
When you're talking about Georgia at work or in the grocery store, we talk about or going out to eat, and you see somebody, and everybody say, "Oh, what's going on with Georgia this year?" That kind of thing. As the spoiled fans that we are, keep that stuff in mind.
Yeah. Well, a team that we're definitely going to get its best shot from,
without a doubt,
the Auburn Tigers. Hugh Freeze, blah. Georgia versus Auburn, Deep South's oldest rivalry this Saturday.
Boom.
Do we give a bump now, or should we wait?
Let's do it 2 times.
2 times. Why not? Ding. 3:30 CBS. If you're watching from home, God bless you,
man.
You got to listen to Gary Danielson.
Excited, yeah. He wasn't on the 3:30 call.
Oh, was he?
He was not. There was a different team than Gary. And
interesting.
So I mean, I couldn't believe that. So I don't know. Maybe we don't get Gary, but now I'm sure he'll be in Opelika for that game. Clark, man, I love this game. I love beating Auburn. I can't stand Auburn. I hate Auburn, and it's something that they got a lot of hope with Hugh Freeze. I think somebody who will have Auburn at a level that they hadn't been at in a long time. A coach I respect from an X's and O's standpoint.
Not in any other standpoint.
Nope.
Well, here's some history. Georgia is 63, 58, and 8. This is a back and forth rivalry. It kind of always has been. This is the 128th meeting, and I believe there's only one other rivalry. What's the longest standing rivalry?
Probably
Minnesota.
I don't know. Is Virginia, North Carolina?
I think that's tied.
South's oldest rivalry.
Right. I think that's tied with us, but I think there's one more. I think it involves Minnesota.
I don't know, Clark.
Somebody fact check and drop a comment.
I don't know.
Maybe something like that.
I don't know. That's
anyway.
That's interesting, man.
Yeah.
But something that has been great is we have dominated Auburn. Going back to the Mark Richt years, Mark Richt owned Auburn.
Oh, he did. Oh, yeah.
You think about it, man. Starting from the beginning of the century.
Yeah, since 2000, Adam, Georgia is 17-7 against the Tigers, and Mark Richt had a lot to do about that. Kirby, though, has only lost once. He's
and avenged it.
Yeah, he avenged the only loss. That's exactly right.
So, yeah, I mean, Georgia won. Georgia, I think they got beaten 2000, 2001, 1 in 02, 1 in 03, lost in 04, lost in 05, 1 in 06, 1 in 07, 1 in 08, 1 in 09, lost in 10, 1 in 11, 1 in 12, lost in 13, 1 in 14, 1 in 15, 1 in 16 in an upset when they were a top 10 team and Georgia was unranked. Lost in 17 the first time in Jordan Hare, but beat their tail in the SEC championship, baby. 1 in 18, 1 in 19, 1 in 20, 1 in 21, 1 in 22, and going to win in 23, baby.
Oh, yeah. Woo! A little, dang. That was impressive, Adam. That's impressive. Did you look it up on Wikipedia before you got here?
No, I did
you
not.
didn't
That's
have
an
to.
old memory bank right there.
Adam, I could tell you hate Auburn, and I'm sure everybody else can as well. Quarterback situation at Auburn, Adam, is a glaring issue. Peyton Thorne, that Michigan State transfer, just doesn't look very comfortable in the pocket. He looked terrified against A&M. They feasted. I don't remember the amount of sacks they got, but he looked like he was just having some trouble. And whatever happened to the number 9 or Ashford kid?
He's still there, man. I think we'll see a lot of them Saturday.
Really?
I think that's what Hugh Freeze and his offensive staff will try. I could be completely
Is
wrong
that their
on this,
wrinkle?
but I think it'll be their wrinkle that they will try to get Ashford out and break containment against this Georgia defense. Try to get him out and see if he could do anything. And with his legs, also maybe some RPOs, stuff like that, and getting the ball out on the perimeter a little bit. I don't think they'll boo the ball on this Georgia defense, or either one of them, but I definitely don't think they'll do it with Peyton Thorne, just a traditional drop back passer like that in a sense. I mean, he might have some mobility. I don't know, but definitely not what Robbie Ashford has. Very athletic kid Ashford is. And I would expect maybe, and I could, like I said, I have not really watched much of Auburn at all this year, but I would expect Ashford to be a huge part of the game plan.
Oh,
Saturday.
yeah. I know,
maybe get majority of the snaps. Maybe start. I don't know.
Who knows? If I'm Hugh Freeze, though, I'm getting, and we talked about this just a while ago, I'm getting the ball out quick, and I'm getting it out to the perimeter. They're going to really target a guy named Jay Fair. He is very fast. He's a big playmaker, 5'10". He's not huge or anything, but he can run quick. He's going to be getting the ball a lot. A couple other guys they're going to get the ball to in the run game, Jarquez Hunter and Damari Alston. Got a pretty Jarquez Hunter. Feels like he's been there forever. Got a pretty solid running back room. They're going to do pretty good.
Well, they looked abysmal in College Station.
They did.
From what I saw the highlights of and
Yeah.
read the stats, I was like, oh my gosh, they look like Vanderbilt moving the football, man. I mean, it was bad, but and they look bad in California, right? Only put 10 points on the
I
board.
wasn't impressed.
But again, they're playing Georgia, so
Right.
they're going to be up. Hugh Freeze is going to have a game plan. If they don't have the horses to capitalize it effectively, I don't think, to get beat, but it is Georgia's first, a lot of guys' first road trip. Man, a lot of starters first time being on the road in a hostile environment, who's excited to have Hugh Freeze leading this program, and make no doubt, I hate to say it, I hate to say it more than anybody, the trajectory of Auburn is going sky high straight up with Hugh Freeze, I think. Yeah. I think he is a major upgrade over Brian Harsin.
Anybody.
He'll be better than Gus Malzahn.
You are a major upgrade over Brian Harsin.
You're right.
That's not a slight towards you either.
But no, you're right. And it's what I'm saying is there's some excitement there.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you could go anywhere in the SEC and get beat, but I just don't think it's going to happen yet to Auburn. I think Hugh Freeze will eventually be a thorn in Kirby's side a couple years, every now and then. I'm not saying going to beat him multiple years in a row, but might pop one off every fourth year or so.
Yeah.
But I do think that he will have a game plan. I think there will be some stuff where they will score more points on Georgia than what we saw in College Station or even in California, just because, man. Just because they're going to play with their hair on fire, home game,
right.
Georgia, rivalry, Hugh Freeze's first game in the rivalry. But
it's not the first game against Kirby Smart as head coach, though, Adam.
No,
Remember the last time Kirby and Hugh Freeze matched up.
Gosh. Look where we've come
We'll just
from
flush that down.
Look at where we come from that. And people know who was in Oxford, Mississippi that day for that beatdown. At halftime, I was like, I don't think I've ever watched a worse beatdown. I said, I can't believe it is to the Ole Miss Rebels in Oxford, Mississippi. But it happened. It happened, and it's just buildings. It's just bricks being built and laid to get where we're at now, to get to the pinnacle where we're at now.
Yeah. Auburn's defense, Adam, they have been playing better this year. I guess that's not saying a whole lot, but they've only given up about 298 yards per game. I looked that up on ESPN. So
all right, how about that?
But granted, they've played who? Sanford, California, and
UMass and A&M. Yeah, so, I think Ron Roberts is their defense coordinator. I think a respectable guy. He was at Baylor. I don't know if he just left Baylor or was kind of pushed out by Dave Aranda at Baylor to come to Auburn, but a guy who is a veteran defensive coordinator. So
how you know names of defensive and offense coordinators from just random teams.
Know.
No, you do.
I don't.
You really do. No, I mean, there's unbelievable amount of knowledge in Adam Thornton's head about coordinators.
I wish there was more knowledge and memorization about other things. Like this morning, for instance, when I went to church, I forgot to get the towels out of the closet to go to the laundry room, and I didn't. That was not a good deal. That was not a good deal. My wife wasn't too happy about that. So I don't do good for myself when I'm come out with these facts that I remember on this show, but then I do not remember to take the towels from the bedroom to the laundry. To the laundry room.
Oh boy,
that's just like I told her, man. I said she knew it going in. It's just how the good Lord made me.
Exactly,
you know?
Exactly. So she was warned. She was warned. Right. Some keys to the game, Adam. The battle is and always has been, always will be, one at the line of scrimmage in any given football game.
It's so true,
but especially this game. I think if you're Georgia, if you're the offensive line, you've got to give Carson plenty of time to go through his reads and his progression. And run blocking, I think, is going to be critical this game. You got to run the football on any given SEC team if you want to win, and I think we're capable of doing that. But you need to see that Auburn, they're going to try to attack the edges like you were talking about. Linebackers and DBs, you got to step up and just stay disciplined and make those good open field tackles like you were discussing earlier.
Yep.
Limit turnovers and penalties, and then just pin your ears back and get to the quarterback.
That's right.
I mean, Especially if it's that Peyton Thorne kid. I mean, you can tee off on that.
That's right, man. I think definitely, like you said, they're going to try to get and attack the linebacker, get to the edge, man, and really going to have good play from the linebackers and DBs. I think Hugh Freeze will definitely dial up something that they're going to get the ball out quickly. I think we're going to see a lot of design runs. We're going to have to look out for RPOs with Ashford, a lot of design quarterback runs with him coming in, man. So, but doing what this Georgia defense does, and that's not being able to let people run the ball on them.
Right.
And, I mean, you just suffocate opposing offenses when they have no running game and have no chance to be balanced, and they have to be one-dimensional going through the air, because when you force teams to have to throw the football, more good things for the defense can happen than bad.
Yeah.
No, yeah. It's true. Yeah. It's true. You're either it's gonna be an incompletion, an interception, or a catch. So 2 or 3 are the good things,
yeah.
right?
That's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly what you want as a defense. Make them beat you with your arm, and there's not a guy. There's not Robbie Ashford or Peyton Thorne ain't going to beat you with their arm.
And if they do, we've got some issues.
Whatever.
And then just tip your hat.
Not who we thought they were.
Exactly.
But my key to it, Clark, start fast, man.
Yeah.
You want to get these guys who are making their first start at the SEC on the road, especially guys like Carson Beck, but guys like whoever it may be. If it's going to be Dalen Everett, it's going to be Julian Humphrey. Who are they going to rotate them? The guys at cornerback. These guys who are going to get their first start on the road, man, start fast. Build some confidence up and take the crowd out of it.
Exactly.
It would be nice to get up like 21-0 in the first quarter and like have some people say in Opalanco, I'm going to go back to tailgate, man.
Yeah.
I'm not going to watch this. I'm not going to watch this. Don't let them linger around. Not give up. Don't turn over the ball on special teams or give Auburn good field possession by turning the ball over in our own territory and give them a short field to either capitalize on field goal, touchdown. And what I'm saying is whatever you do, and I don't care what the records are, when you linger around, you let stuff linger in Jordan-Hare Stadium, weird stuff can happen. Me and you can attest that. We've been there. We've seen it, man. It's a dangerous place to play, especially when they're up and rowdy. And I don't think they will be. I mean, the crowd might be juiced pregame a little bit, but it's not like what we've seen. But how you get them juiced, Clark, is shooting yourself in the foot. I think that's the only way. I don't think Auburn, they might come out with a good script the first offensive possession, Clark.
Yeah. We may be like,
Freeze
oh,
can
gosh.
do that. He can do that, and you know, kind of, and come out. They might march down the field, and they might score. What surprised me if they take the ball, go up 7-0, march down. I'm not going to be worried about it at that point. Right. Georgia will settle in, but it would be nice to see Georgia play 4 quarters like they played the third quarter of the last couple games, man. And but I think to do that is do what we did this last week, man. Drive down the field, score on the first offensive possession, build some confidence, take the crowd out of it, man, and then get to a point where you're imposing your will, and like you said, on both sides of the line of scrimmage, getting the push on the defensive line, getting the push on the offensive line, run the football in the fourth quarter, and let's get back to Athens, man. No more injuries with a big win in Auburn, Alabama. I think you do that, which this team's very capable of. It's going to be a very, very fun day on the Plains and a big nationally televised CBS audience. Beat down Auburn, baby.
Love
to
it.
go 5-0. Woo! Go!
Let's do it. All right, last week's games right quick. Let's just run through some of these. First of all, oh, man, this is great. I just love this. Florida State
too,
at Clemson.
I missed it, but I love it.
Yeah, I did too. 30. Oh, no. I got it. Yeah, I picked Florida State.
My pick
but I
was
did not
terrible
expect
this
this. 31-24 overtime win.
man.
Unbelievable
I
how
love it.
Clemson lost that game.
I love it.
I love it too.
Dabo's magic's running out, man.
Yeah.
He doesn't know. I mean, all the cute fairy tale stories that he's got of bringing kickers in from Charleston on Sundays to have come attempt game-winning field goals, and have just this storybook ending about how Dabo was planning probably at the, when everybody was going to gather at the Tiger Paw after he made the field goal to talk about how he believed in this kid and what a story we can learn from.
Right.
What a story we can learn from of, you think your time's over, but you come back and
redemption,
and how Dabo's just a genius to hear his son say, hey, we still got this kid enrolled in school. Let's bring him to kick. And we bring him into kicking. He hits the game winner against Florida State. We brought him in, he just joined the team Monday, and he was going to come be the hero, right? That was the Disney. That was going to be the second Disney Clemson movie, right?
Oh yeah,
right.
Yep.
Right.
Wrong.
Didn't happen, baby.
That's so satisfying.
I love it. I think there's going to have to be some reevaluation from that program if they're going to want to compete in the current landscape of college.
I don't even know if you make it to the ACC championship at this point.
I don't, man. I mean, you got Miami. I mean, they still got Notre Dame coming to town. I don't know if they play Miami this year or not, but it's more. And then you got Duke playing good ball. I don't know if they do, and I love it. I love it. Let them go to the Cheez-It Bowl.
Yep.
Let them go to the Cheez-It Bowl.
And rain down Cheez-Its on Dabo Sweeney.
That's right. They're going to go to the
win.
Cheez-It Bowl on December 27th, Clark. And then they're going to go play. Who would they be playing in the Cheez-It Bowl? Probably this year could see it being like Texas Tech. Yeah. They'll play Texas Tech in the Cheez-It Bowl 2 days after Christmas. Get home for the new year.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Ole Miss at Alabama, 24-10. Alabama pulled away there in the second half. It did look really close, and I wasn't really impressed by Ole Miss. Were you, Adam?
No, I was not, man. I was disappointed. I picked Ole Miss. I kind of thought like if Lane was ever going to get them, this was going to be the year to do it, right? And should have known better. Should have known Alabama would win that game. But for what Kiffin did, the stuff he made up the narrative that T-Rob was calling plays and Kevin still wouldn't, and trying to get some distraction in Tuscaloosa. A lot of smack talk, man. And comes out there and as for the offense coordinator that he is, the offensive mind is what I'm trying to say. And just to put up 10 points, man. This Alabama defense is good, Clark. I think they're really good, and I think they're getting back to the traditional defenses that you saw. Not as good now. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying they're getting back to what it was like when Kirby Smart was there, but there's definitely some dudes on that defense. But the offense, I'm still not impressed with at Alabama.
And Alabama is one of those kind of deceptive teams. They kind of like, oh yeah, the dynasty's over. And I mean, we're sitting here a week or two ago after the Texas game talking like,
they don't show up in South Florida,
right? Yeah. And so you start to think, okay, is this the end?
Turmoil in the locker room?
Yeah, but now I mean, they didn't look great, but at the same time, it looks like they're kind of starting to figure it out a little bit.
Would it surprise if they win 8 straight, go 11-1?
That's the thing.
It wouldn't surprise me either. No. It wouldn't. But then again, I could see them getting beat by either A&M, Tennessee, LSU,
exactly.
Lights. But a lot of them are home games, man. I think A&M's only road game. But we'll see. We'll see. I think it's going to be very interesting.
Did they go to Auburn? They go to Auburn.
They go to Auburn. There's some voodoo that happens there at Auburn when Alabama comes to town on years where they shouldn't beat them. So, and then I don't know, man. I don't know. It'll be very interesting to see up in there, but crazy.
Next game, Colorado at Oregon. What a beatdown, 42-6. Good job, Dan Lanning.
Yes, good job, Dan Lanning.
Thank you, Dan.
Yeah, I mean, and the only reason, man, it's just gotten out of hand, the hype that Colorado's got, the free advertising for recruiting Deion's got. I haven't been a fan of that. I hadn't been a fan of the just bystander college football fans that have been brought in because of Deion. All of a sudden, they're interested in college football, and that's fine. But Josh Pate said it best, Clark, I think, when I listened to one of his shows. He said, but they're coming in, but then they're wanting to give their opinion on everything.
Right,
like one guy tweeted out, Deion's just ahead of the curve, Clark. He's got practices where he's pumping in crowd noise and Oregon's fight song. Yeah, I mean, look at this man. It's unbelievable. Like, that's been going on for decades.
Literally decades,
football, man. And I nothing against Deion or anything like that. It's just the people of the hype of Colorado. I'm ready to see it put to bed, and it was put to bed in Eugene last Saturday. And I think an even bigger reality test will come when Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams and Southern California Trojans come into Boulder.
Yeah. Arkansas at LSU battle for the Golden Boot. Adam, that was a close game. LSU squeaked it out 34-31.
Wild if LSU got its second loss.
I know.
Already.
Yeah.
I hate it for Sam Pittman, man. It would have been a monstrous win for Sam. And
especially on the road.
He needed it. He needed that, but he didn't get it. But Arkansas is a good football team, even though they've lost to BYU and barely lost this one. Maybe they'll make some noise and pop somebody that they're not expecting. I just hope that the wheels don't fall off for the pit boss, man, because of how much we love him.
Oh, yeah. Texas at Baylor. Adam, I said this one would be close. It was close for maybe 5 minutes in the football game.
Yeah.
And then Texas did. They pulled away 38-6.
Texas playing good ball, man. After there hadn't been a letdown after that. Maybe they let Wyoming hang around for about 3 quarters the week after going to Tuscaloosa and getting that win. But bouncing back, going to Waco, putting up a very impressive score there. And it's going to be interesting. Texas-Oklahoma game should be interesting. But Texas is definitely in line for that, what we've talked about, Clark. If they still got the mulligan in their back pocket where they could lose, not show up, and lose to somebody like Kansas State, and still go on and win the Big 12. But because of that win in Tuscaloosa, and how the layout of college football has been, I said this in the preview show, can make the playoff.
They sure can.
I think that more and more every week they're solidifying that they are a very, very high potential team that could be in that 14 playoff, man. And I think they, of course, could lose a game and still do it. And it could be like Kansas State, like they do. But right now, man, I don't know. They might run the table. We'll see.
This one, ESPN Instant. Actually, it wasn't ESPN. It was NBC. Instant Classic. NBC, yeah. Ohio State at Notre Dame. My gosh.
I hate it.
17-14, Ohio State. I mean, hey, props to them. They came back. They drove down the field on that game-winning touchdown. Just unbelievable.
And it's not good when you have 10 defensive players on the field.
Yeah.
That doesn't add up.
Especially at the end of the game.
That. Yeah,
Adam, they should have been counting like you did.
Exactly. That's what I've said, Clark. It should be inexcusable for any collegiate team, any football team, period. I don't care what level of it. The coach has to have a designated counter. Your job, I don't care if you're on defense or offense, you count the people.
Or special teams.
There should be a signal. Or special teams, exactly. There should be a signal that you relay that's your primary job to make sure there are 11 guys. You just get one person who is capable to count to the number 11. Just count all fingers, add one more, add the index again after you're done with the 10 that you got.
Yeah.
And if you got them on the field, then okay. But if you don't, if you have 12 or if you have 10, there needs to be a universal sign for each team doing one of these numbers where you're on the sideline that you could relay into a coach. So we got to get a timeout in and we got to get this corrected.
Right.
And it blows my mind. I mean, I've never been on a coaching staff, so it's unfair of me to speak of, but especially at college, you have 800 staff members, Clark. 800 staff members just roaming around. Somebody's job has got to be to count the guys on the field, especially in a pivotal moment like that.
And here's the thing. If you don't have, if there's a situation where you only got 10 guys and you're about to play for the game-winning touchdown, right? And you're on defense, and you're trying to stop that team from scoring, just run a guy on the field. It doesn't matter. It could be anybody.
That's right. That's right. But, his
backup punter.
They only had 10 guys on the field when they threw that pass Bouquet on the 1-inch line, right?
Yeah.
And
was
it the first? No,
I thought it was the first
play. It was the first play on the goal line, right?
I thought it was when they scored.
No, there was 2 plays in a row.
Oh my gosh!
Marcus Freeman wasn't going to put another person out there to let Ohio State regroup and maybe have an untimed down or something like that. So. But everybody and their brother knew that last play they were going to run the football. You could tell after they didn't get the completion on the pass from the first play. They spiked it. Then second down, I think they tried to throw it to Harrison. And on third down, you knew they were going to run in from the 1-inch line. You could just tell everybody and their brother knew. But you gave up the opportunity to have one more body on that defensive front, man, who could slant in maybe and cause some more disruption in that A gap and blow it up a little bit, because it's not like he just walked in the end zone. So to me, that's inexcusable for Marcus Freeman. I hate to say it like that. I like Marcus Freeman from what I hear of him, but that's going to be some tough questions that will deservedly be asked of him, and it's going to be hard to give a reasoning that will not just be inexcusable to have 10 guys on a goal line stand.
It's bad. That's bad.
Not good.
Iowa at Penn State. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, now, Clark.
Adam, you were right. Iowa
They can't score.
To be frank, they just suck.
I mean, old Kurt Ferentz, God bless him, has been there for a couple decades. One of Iowa's favorites, children.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And his son, bless his heart, is in a predicament. This is why you don't hire family. Have you ever heard of have you ever heard in the coaching realm?
Yes.
Why have you ever heard of a success story of a head coach hiring their son or their brother to be an assistant?
I don't think so.
Like Jeff Bowden for Bobby Bowden after Rick left, Florida State offensive coordinator, their offense definitely went downhill. I can't think of any other ones just right off my head. But Spurrier had his son just there, just being there.
Yeah.
But this Brian Ferentz being Iowa's offense coordinator, like Daddy gave him the ultimatum, or the higher ups did, that you're either going to fire him, or well, he gave them the ultimatum that we have to average 25 points per game. Put the goose egg up.
That's
Put
bad.
the goose egg up hurts that average of getting 25 points per game,
yeah.
or you lose your job. But there should never be a scenario in Division I football, especially at a Power 5 level, Clark, that you have a deal with your offensive coordinator that you got to score 25 points per game, or you're going to get fired this year.
That's a bad.
Like, if you get to that point, it needs to go on anyway.
Yeah,
so if I was the Iowa Hawkeye, I wouldn't want just Brian going. I want Kurt going too.
Right.
So I mean, inexcusable that this day and age, with transfer portal, everything, that you cannot score, and it's been going on for years.
Yeah.
And you got to, I mean, I know they gave up 31 to Penn State, man, but you got a heck of a defensive coordinator there, and a heck of a defense past few years that can win at a very high Big Ten level if you had a potent offense. But
For sure.
you don't got it. Anyway, spent way too much time on that. But
Game of the week last week, Hendricks versus Millsaps. Adam, we got it right. Hendricks won in a shootout.
wow.
53 to 42.
Yeah, man, just too much just turmoil going on.
Right.
You know,
with Millsaps.
with Millsaps.
You
So,
know, they got an interim head coach
yeah.
and just
you
you
don't-
never know.
And when you don't know what's going on with the interim tag being placed on a man
Right.
at a program, you don't bet on.
Yeah, no, never.
Do. I mean, that's just
In
life
fact, you
101
can-
lessons. You learned that from pre-K, man.
Right.
Never bet on a team that's got an interim head coach.
In
Or
fact,
suspended
bet
head
the
coach.
house on the other team.
That's right. So free money here. Don't bet on Northwestern, and don't bet on Michigan State going forward the rest of the year.
Yep. Well, really, don't bet on Michigan
Yeah.
State. Don't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
Or you bet somebody playing Michigan State.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Like,
Yes.
Probably some of the easiest money somebody could have made was that Washington Michigan State.
Oh,
game.
100%.
Golly.
You could have made money, Adam. Why don't you?
Yeah,
why don't you
man.
do it?
I can't do
Oh,
that.
man.
I can't do it on
Nah,
college
nah.
football because it would just be bad.
Me
It just
too.
wouldn't-
Me
it
too.
wouldn't, because then all upsets, pandemonium would ensue if
Right.
I did place a friendly wager
Yeah.
on it. But
Well,
Anyway.
this week we got several good games. Not as good as last week, but still some respectable matchups.
all right,
On Friday, we got Utah at Oregon State, 9 o'clock, Fox. Little Pac-12 action. Not at midnight,
That's
but
right.
at dark. Utah at Oregon State. Adam, Oregon State suffered its first loss against Washington State, right?
yeah, they did.
And that was one of my kind
On
of
the
dark
road.
horse dark horse teams. And I guess, they could still run the table. They'd have to win in pretty convincing fashion, I think, from here on out in order to make it to the playoff.
Right.
But I still think they're a good team. And so is Utah.
Yeah.
You could argue that the Pac-12 right now is by far from top to bottom, the best in the nation. And I don't think I've ever said that. And I don't know if I ever will. Well, I definitely won't, because the Pac-12 is about to be a thing of the
It's
past.
crazy to think they're not going to exist
Right.
anymore. But yeah, it's unbelievable. And you're exactly right saying it, Clark. Very talented
So-
football, man.
Who are you taking, the Utes or the Beavers?
Utah actually picked them to lose last week to UCLA, and they won 14-7. And an old school, and I love the fact, Clark. It's like we're throwing it back in 1999.
Yeah.
Some of these scores, man. I love that we're not having the 52 to 42 games as much anymore. We're
Right.
having more 21-13, 14-7 type games, and I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. But anywho, I digress with that. Give me Oregon State winning at home, man. Utah's just been close. I mean, won a close one. I mean, look very impressive against Florida the first week, but they haven't had Cam Rising. They've had the injury bug. I don't know if I don't remember if he played against UCLA or not last week. I didn't see that, but I think Oregon State bounces back. Had a tough road game against Washington State and Pullman last week.
Yeah.
but I think they're going to come back to Corvallis, Oregon, Clark, and win this football game.
You and your college town locations
That's it.
is
Campus
it's just
locations.
unbelievable. I'll go with Oregon State too. I got to be honest. I like the uniforms.
Yep.
So that might be the only reason I pull for them.
It'll be fun to watch. Good Friday night game. To
Oh
watch.
yeah. Saturday, USC at Colorado, 12 o'clock, Fox. There's no way Deion Sanders wins this football game, right?
Give me USC big.
Yeah, I'm with you. USC by several touchdowns. I don't know what the spread is right now, but I could imagine it's probably going to be big.
I think Colorado will put up more points than they did against Oregon because USC's defense is not what
atrocious.
Oregon's is.
Yeah.
So, but still, USC could put up 70.
They sure could. Yeah.
But they did struggle against Arizona State the other night. Was that a look-ahead game to
Maybe.
this? Or
Could,
I don't
could
know.
potentially be. Hey, Arizona State, Tempe.
Tempe, there you go. Yeah.
Tempe is
Tough place to
it's a
play.
tough place.
That's
yeah.
right.
When they get the, what is it? Running with the Devil by Van Halen. Oh,
yeah.
man.
Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 all right, sorry. Had to do it. I hadn't thought about that in a while.
Yeah. Oh man, that's an interesting place to play a football game right there. Is Arizona State. Anyway,
that it is, Carl. That it
is. Yep. Florida at Kentucky, 12 o'clock, ESPN.
Oh, that's a nooner.
That is a nooner. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Yeah,
and I think these two teams are pretty equally matched. I think Florida's gelling.
These are two tough games on the slate. I see the next one too. I don't know who I'm going to pick, but who you got in this one, Clark?
Ooh, we. I mean, I'm obviously, Kroger Field. That place can get a little Kroger sometimes.
Oh, it will be. They're believing. They're looking forward to Georgia.
Yeah, I'll take Kentucky by 4 points.
I was going to say 3 points. Give me Kentucky by 3, Clark. Winning this game against Florida. They've actually got over the Florida hump when they won like 30 straight against them. Mark Stoops has broke that curse, started beating them more consistently since 2018. And I think he adds to that, Clark. I think he gets the win, man. It wouldn't surprise me if Florida wins. I think it's a toss-up. If I was a betting man on college football, I would not touch this game.
No.
Would not touch this game. But give me Kentucky, though. If we're going to sit here and just for kicks and giggles, we're going to pick a team. Give me the Wildcats at home.
I'll take the Wildcats.
Okay.
Do you think it'll be like a blue out or something?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Oh, yeah. They're going to be fired up. They're going to be fired up, ready to go.
LSU at Ole Miss, 6 o'clock, ESPN. Sort of an elimination game here, Adam.
Yeah.
In the SEC West.
Yeah, well.
And what I mean is a playoff.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right. Not necessarily. I mean, LSU still has everything.
Yeah,
right.
That's
right. But playoff, you
right.
can't. I mean, one of these teams is going to be completely eliminated from playoff.
Well, you're right. If
LSU
loses this game, I don't think they will go on like they did last year in the West. No. But I don't know. Who do you think, Clark? In Oxford.
Man.
In Oxford makes it tough.
It's going to be a tough game for LSU to win. And I'm going to stick with the Bayou Bengals. And this is going to be a close game. Could potentially be a shootout. I don't know. I do think LSU's defense is playing a little bit better. Yeah, give me the Tigers.
I'm going to go with them too, Clark. I'm going to go with them too. It wouldn't surprise me if Ole Miss wins this game and bounces back. But is there going to be too much of a Bama hangover and a disappointment that LSU will come in and smoke them possibly, or will Ole Miss be up knowing that if they're going to keep their goals in front of them, they want this year, they have to win this football game. You can't lose to Alabama and LSU back-to-back weeks and expect to win the SEC West, right? And then you have that eliminated in the month of September. Man, it'd be a tough feeling. So they rally, they get up, and they pop a LSU team who hadn't looked like they're just unbeatable. I mean, against Mississippi State in the start, they look good. So, but LSU's proven they go on the road, and Ole Miss is not a hostile environment whatsoever. So, give me LSU.
Okay. South Carolina, the Gamecocks at Tennessee.
Oh,
7:30 SEC Network.
Gosh.
Hey, the ticket prices of this game are pretty crazy. I think Tennessee fans really want a piece of South Carolina after last year.
Josh Heupel wants part of Shane Beamer too. There's some hate there. There's some hate there too, from what I hear up in Rocky Top, man. Okay. Oh yeah, Heupel is not a fan of Beamer.
Who is a fan of Beamer?
I really don't know. Frank Beamer's a fan of Shane.
His dad.
His son. So, So that's what I would say. Oh man, I give me Tennessee. They've wanted this one for a while, man, and I think they might checkerboard this game, Clark.
Oh, yeah.
Might checkerboard this game and get really excited about it and know that they can't lose another SEC game. Carolina can't either. Obviously, both of them have two. Carolina has 2 losses. Both of them have a loss in conference, 1 loss in conference, and I think this is definitely an elimination game, and Tennessee comes out victorious, man.
Watch this. South Carolina goes into Neyland.
Okay.
And gets the upset.
All right. I can see.
Watch that. I'm telling you, Spencer Rattler is playing pretty good football right now. And that's something I never thought I'd be admitting.
Clark, I would probably say he's the best quarterback in the SEC. Yeah. If anybody said that, I was kind of like, well, you might could argue Jackson Dart, till I saw Jackson Dart the other day. I mean, who else would you say? Maybe Jaden Daniels. I keep forgetting about Jaden Daniels. Yeah, you can make an argument. Jaden Daniels, Spencer Rattler.
Jalen Milroe, Adam.
Jalen Milroe.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
No, I really do believe.
But there's nothing around.
After watching what South Carolina came into Athens and did, I wouldn't be shocked if they went into Tennessee. Now I will say, in order for South Carolina to pull up an upset, they're going to have to play with their hair on fire offensively, which I think they can. And they can't turn over the ball. That's going to be critical. But Tennessee's defense, you know, there's been some hype this year. They're improving.
A little bit stouter defensive line.
I don't know. I just don't know.
Well, either way, one fan base is going to leave demoralized.
Yes,
and I love it. And
right.
I love
this is this a meteor game? Does this qualify as a meteor game?
It's a small meteor.
Yeah,
and the fact that
meteorite game.
We do not like either one of these teams, but we don't have as much disdain for South Carolina just because they're little brother.
Sure.
Now back. You asked from 2010 to 2013 to that kind of level. I mean, yeah, they're in the Spurrier level when we were losing to them consistently. But yeah, it's still a meteor game because I don't like either one of them, and I'll be happy at the disgruntlement of whoever the loser is.
Good word usage there, Adam. Yeah, disgruntlement.
Any of those 3 SEC games we just listed, man, and I gambled on college football. I would not touch any of them. I would not touch any of them. I wouldn't be surprised either way at either 3 of those games. It's going to be fun to see.
Yeah. So, well, Adam, you may be, if you were a betting man, you could potentially bet on this game, the game of the week.
What do we got?
We got a good one. Shippensburg University Raiders at Shepherd University Rams.
Love it.
They're located in West Virginia.
Both of them are in West Virginia.
And both of their names start with a ship and a shep. Yeah. It's
start
weird.
with the sh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. SH.
All right.
You got to be careful saying these two names here. All right. Anyway, kickoff for this game, 12 o'clock. The weather's going to be 68 degrees, man. You can't beat that.
Man. Probably in the Shenandoah Valley.
Yeah.
The breeze up there in West Virginia, man. I know they're going to be fired up, jacked up for some football.
Yeah.
Shepherd University football. All right.
This is Hall of Fame weekend at Shepherd University.
I'm sure it's a star-studded lineup.
Oh, yeah.
Have inducted.
Oh, yes.
This is a Hall of Fame weekend for all sports, academics, professors. Is it really?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe.
Is it just football?
I would assume it's probably athletics, maybe.
You would have
and you kind of invite the notable alum to come back home.
That's right. Come back, a little homecoming, if you
right, will. Yeah. But only for the Hall of Famers.
Okay, I got you. I understand.
Who knows? Well, let's start with Shippensburg. I got some good information. They're the Raiders.
Okay.
Shippensburg Raiders.
Yes.
Some general knowledge here. 1-3 on the season. Not a good start.
No, not good. Not good.
But they got a shutout victory at home last week. 7-0. I mean, you talk about good quality offensive production. Shippensburg, they've got it there.
Oh,
they won on Family Day too. By the way.
No.
So they pulled it together.
For that?
They got their first win on
Those
Family Day.
Parents probably were excited to get to go take the children to get some entertainment. After that, they had to go to the ice cream parlor. After that, get them ice cream, put them through that torture. Family Day, they put a 7-0 game on Family Day.
Oh,
Woo.
man,
that's rough. That's rough.
Well, let's check out the
They had to go to Chuck E. Cheese after that, get a pizza to make up for that atrocity for Family Day. Thought I was going to have good fun with the family. Let's go watch Shippensburg put up 7.
Well, Adam, maybe some of the family members got pictures with this guy. Yes. This is Shippensburg mascot.
They're a Raider.
They're the Raiders,
Raiders?
but they're like pirate Raiders. You know?
Yeah.
And so if you're watching if you're listening to it, his name is Big Red.
Big Red.
He's a parrot.
Yes.
Tell us about old Big Red. What are your thoughts on Big Red?
I love it, man. I love it. He looks like he should be at Pirates of the Caribbean. Should have been in the movie. In the movie. Right, anything. But yeah, I mean, I love it. Great smile. Again, we're going for another bird mascot that has teeth. Not really accurate, but
do birds have teeth?
No, they do not have teeth. There is no
teeth in birds. Does any bird have teeth?
No, birds do not have teeth. Now, could there be one out there that's been cross-bred or whatever and has some wacky stuff going on in laboratories in China? I don't know. That's a possibility. But the birds that I come across do not have teeth.
What birds do you come across, Adam? Tell the people.
Poultry, chickens. I see chickens every single day of my life.
Oh my gosh!
Yep. But these particular parrots, I do not know. But there is no teeth in a parrot. I don't think. So, but I like it. You got to put it in there.
Right.
I love that it's smiling whites. He's happy. He's happy to be here.
Yeah.
And
what do you think about the Jolly Roger hat?
I love the Jolly Roger hat. That sets it off because I wouldn't know what I would think it was a cardinal if you didn't have the Jolly Roger hat. But the Jolly Roger hat makes it that it is a parrot, and everybody knows it's a parrot.
Yeah. What do you think about his, right quick, what do you think about his jersey? He got the double zero.
In the past, I've talked about how I've been disappointed with the lackluster apparel that these mascots have worn, but this is a quality game jersey worn by Sharpensburg University Raiders. Shippensburg University. And I like it, man. A+ grade for the mascot all the way around. Nice. I would get my picture made with it. I love it. I love it, man. Again, this is one of the better ones. This is top of the echelon mascot.
Oh, yeah. Some notable alum, I should say, from Shippensburg. Yeah. Michelle Buck is the president and CEO of the Hershey Company.
Oh, nice.
That's pretty cool.
Yep.
And
West
then
Virginia,
a guy,
Pennsylvania up there.
Yeah. Rob Davis. He is a former NFL long snapper and current assistant head coach for the Cowboys.
Well, good for Rob, man.
Yeah, good for him.
I wonder how you get noted as like a NFL long snapper if you went to Shippensburg and you snapped at Shippensburg.
I don't know. You must have a really good snap.
Elite.
Yeah. Like what? Yeah, what qualifies
how do you get found out about being on the potential the hot board for long snappers? Shippensburg. Yeah. You know, like what I would love to know what stands. I mean, it's got to be the velo coming off the ball,
the velocity,
the velo coming off that. They got to like that, man. That's a special talent that some people require. That's good Lord given ability to get the velocity of the long snap out. So yeah.
We need to teach a class on long snapping. I think that'd be
punting
fun.
And everything.
And punting, yeah.
It'd be great.
All right, head coached by Mark. Oh boy.
Oh my gosh.
Macy Juski. I have no idea if that's how you actually say that, but Macy Juski.
Oh yeah.
Kind of like that name.
Okay.
It's like a couple of words all in one, like Macy, and then you got Jew, and then ski.
Like ski. Yeah. Break it down in 3 syllables and you got it. Macy Juski.
Anyway, his alma mater, Adam, is Shippensburg.
Love when we see people come back home and want to invest back and where they got their roots and what made them what they are in their current state today. So I'm all for people coming back and leading their home program, man. So, I mean, like I said, that's where the roots relate. That's where the roots relate. And automatically when you get a coach that comes back to his alma mater, the interest level and the care for the betterment of the program
just goes up.
Is there, you know, and you don't question it. Nobody's questioning it.
Right.
That's what I like. Good for them. Smart move by the AD, bringing back one of their own.
Oh, yeah. On the other side, Shepherd Rams. Here we go. Some general knowledge.
Yes.
They're also a West Virginia. Oh, wait, no. Actually, I don't know about Shippensburg. I think they're a Pennsylvania school. Is that what it said?
Might be.
Anyway, Shepherd, though, is a West Virginia public school.
Okay.
They are 3-1 on the season, so a better start.
I mean, when you think about West Virginia football, you think about the West Virginia Mountaineers, you think about the Marshall Thunder and Herd, and then you think about the Shepherd Rams. I mean, that's 100%. How it goes. That's how it goes. In that order. And so I mean, a powerhouse in the state of West Virginia.
100%.
And a lot of people live for Shepherd Ram football.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
So yeah, 3-1 on the season, a pretty promising campaign going so far.
100%. Well, let's talk about Shepherd. They're the Rams.
Okay.
Their mascot.
Yes.
They've got 2, Adam. They've got a live, like they've got an UGA and they've got a hairy dog.
Love it.
So they've got somebody in a costume.
Yes.
And they've got a real deal mascot.
They got the real deal.
Let's start with the real live Ram. His name is JC. I don't know what the J and the C stand for, but JC.
Yes, JC the Ram. That is wonderful. Wonderful. Good genetics on that Ram. Good genetics on that Ram, man. They picked a good bloodline of Ram to choose from the Shepherd mascot, man. The antlers, the curl in them, the uniformity in it.
Yes,
and,
very symmetrical.
Very symmetrical, and that thing would hurt you.
Oh, yeah.
If it headbutted you. You know, I mean, that's one of them deals right there, man. Can you imagine if he headbutted all the players coming out of the game? They'll get fired up. But got a visor, Clark. Got a visor on the Ram. On the Ram. Excuse me, on the Ram, and I love it. I think that's a
huge visor.
Yeah, I think that's a very well put together live mascot.
Agreed. It kind of reminds me of those visors that, God bless them, the older women, the grandmothers wear
go to
on the beach.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. They go to Walmart and get them one because they forgot to pack one.
Right.
So that's right.
It's that same exactly kind of style. Oh, man, that's JC. Let me talk about the other one. This guy is named Zan, Z-A-N. What in the world is this?
It should be a giraffe. The neck looks like a giraffe. The proportion of the head to the shoulder is horrendous. Like, I mean, how's the incumbent in the mascot attire see? that's like the Chick-fil-A cow. You know, the Chick-fil-A cow has a long neck. And, I've been in a Chick-fil-A cow costume before, spinning a sign on the side of the road. Yeah, I have. That's a true story. True story. 8 years ago, I was spinning a sign. I was a Chick-fil-A cow. And what it does, and I'm not a very tall individual, but even a tall individual couldn't get up to the very peak of the cow head, correct?
Right.
And see how like the eyes that one would think. And so I was on the side of the road, and my head would come up to the middle neck area, right? And you could see out of it. And I was spinning a sign on the side of the road and like wheeling cars in to come get some chicken. Yeah.
That's amazing, Adam. Did you get paid for that?
It was down in Cordell. I did it for Mary Beth at the Chick-fil-A. I did not get paid for that. I got a free meal out of it.
That's worth it.
No, but it was a great experience to say that. So being a guy who's been in a Chick-fil-A cow costume with a extended neck, I think why they have the neck extension of what you're seeing, why it's not proportionate, shoulder, head, body like, is because of the vision for the incumbent in the costume.
Yes, we just got I got to point out the eyes, Adam. That is
bulging.
That is the most concerning look I've ever seen of a ram.
Like he's heading to slaughter. He's heading to slaughter.
Yes,
it's he does not look happy to be here. The hoof looks awful. It's the guy's fist just balled up. It doesn't look like he could spread his hands out and be caught for one that mascot costume.
Oh my gosh,
that's pitiful. That's pitiful. I mean, the live mascot is great. They did everything right with that, but throwing that together just for picture opportunities for the children, because I could say there could be a safety hazard with putting a child up against the live ram. I mean, even if they do have a couple handlers with the live ram, that's probably a liability risk.
Oh yeah,
with the maybe behind a fence in a corral or something with some stout panels, then you get the opportunity with the live ram for a photo opportunity. But this is probably something that they just threw together like, hey, we need to get something for family day for the fans and everything to take a picture with. So they just threw this together without any thought. So Zan, terrible. D+.
D+. Dang. Notable alumni of what is this college? Notable alumni of Shepherd Rams.
Yep.
Here we go. Tyson Badgett.
Yeah, Bojet.
That's an A. Badgett.
Okay.
We're going to go with Badgett.
Okay.
He was a quarterback who won the Harlan Hill Trophy. That's essentially D2's Heisman Trophy. He just signed with the Bears.
Oh, how about that? All's good on him, man.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Pretty notable right there. And then Arthur Edward Ruark.
Yeah.
You ready for this? He was a physicist who studied quantum mechanics, Adam.
No, wow.
Those were the two guys.
Hey, man, good on Tyson, man. He might get some playing time in Chicago, but Justin Fields acting like Justin Fields.
Oh.
Blaming coaches and stuff.
That's typical.
You know, just blame it for his lackluster play. So.
Yeah, it's coach's fault for sure. Head coach Ernie McCook.
Love the name. We've talked about that people are just born with names to be head coaches, and that is a Division II head coach name if I've ever seen it.
Ernie McCook.
And
we're going to show a picture.
Like Buddy Stevens on Last Chance U. You know, he was built to be one. Ernie McCook is one of those guys. Cut from the same cloth.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Is he a lunch pail kind of guy?
Yeah, definitely blue collar, especially in West Virginia, Pennsylvania. Blue collar guy show up with a lunch pail. You know, one of those guys that you know, he likes to have people in there who he likes to see his quarterback be the guy that's the last one to leave the building. You know, players about the quarterback. One of Ernie's quarterbacks, they talk about how he is the last one to leave the parking lot. His truck's still in the parking lot when everybody else is left. You know, first one there, last one to leave type guy.
Right.
A guy that like Elijah Drinkwitz would talk about, that you want to see, that you would want to see him marry your daughter if you had one.
Oh, okay.
That type of guy is probably what Ernie likes to see in his quarterback.
Sure. Shippensburg Raiders lead the series 29-23. Okay. This is a pretty even battle, you know. But Adam, they are 3-14 since 2000. So with that said, Adam, there's no way I can go with Shippensburg. I have got to go with Shepherd University, especially at home.
There's any doubt, especially what the season's looking like through the first 4 games for both of the programs, man. I will say Shippensburg won the mascot battle. That the atrocity that was the costume, Zan, the Ram, pulled him down that bad that Shippensburg wins it with the parrot, with the Jolly Roger hat. But as far as the play on the field, give me Ernie and the boys, Clark. Give me Ernie and the boys. Give me Ernie and the boys to win this football game, and not just win it pretty lopsided, 35-3.
Wow. Adam, there's no way. I'll take 35-3 the other way.
No, Ernie is Shepherd head coach, Clark.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Sorry. So, okay, yeah, we're on the same page?
Yeah, we're on the same page.
Oh, my God. Well, it's confusing. You got Shippensburg and then Shepherd. I'm sorry.
Macy
gosh.
Juszczyk. Macy Juszczyk.
Yeah, Macy Juszczyk.
Yeah, the other coach.
That does not sound like a real name. Macy Juszczyk. Anyway,
Yeah.
maybe it's like German or,
Probably
or like
something
Swedish.
like that. I would say of European descent. I would say something along those lines. But Ernie is going to run circles around him.
Oh, man. Well, hey, if you've enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. It does help us grow.
Man.
Yeah, this has been a long episode.
It's been a long episode. We had a lot to talk about.
Exactly, yeah. If you're watching on YouTube, make sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss any more of our stuff. And, hey, let us know if you're traveling to Auburn, Opelika, Alabama.
We'll see y'all.
Yeah, we'll be there.
We will be there. We're going into enemy territory. God bless you.
Yep.
And make sure when you come back to bathe real good before you go back.
Yes. Georgia versus Auburn, 3:30 Eastern Standard Time, CBS.
Or the alternate version.
That's just the trumpets, right?
Yeah, that's the alternate version. Yep.
Hey, we talked about a giveaway. Before we give you all our score predictions, we're going to talk about a giveaway. And this really isn't a giveaway. It's more of a challenge because you got to earn this.
You got to have talent.
You've got to have some talent.
You want it. You got to want it. You got to have talent.
So what we're going to do is,
yes,
it's not luck. What we're going to do is you have to submit your best CBS theme. Yes. And we will announce a winner. So make a video, send it to us. You can DM it. You can email us at row60@gmail.com.
Just shoot. Hey, if you're real about it, just put it on the wall on row 60.
Yeah, post it on Facebook. Absolutely. You got to be brave to do that.
Post it on your own Facebook and tag row 60.
Exactly. However you want to do it, we'll find it. But send us your best CBS theme video. We're going to announce a winner this Friday night on our live call-in show.
Yes, sir!
Adam and I will choose a winner. We'll choose the best one. And the winner gets a $25 gift card to Row 60, our store. And you can get a shirt with that. You can get some stickers, whatever you want.
Love it, man.
So,
love it.
Little challenge for you guys. And we'll pick the best one. And also, I want to say this. It doesn't necessarily have to be. Should we do like a vocal thing, or could it be like an instrument too?
Yeah, if the good Lord's giving you the ability to play an instrument, hammer down on. I don't care if it's the harmonica. Yeah.
I
don't care if it's the didgeridoo. I don't care what it is, the flute, whatever you have, however you want to make the ba 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 sound, however you intend it, send it in and let it be heard.
Yeah. Hey, a $25 Row 60 gift card is up for grabs.
Yes, sir.
Very prestigious. Oh,
Big time.
Yeah. Anyway, score prediction, Adam. This week I'm gonna give you mine. You give us yours.
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna go Georgia 41, Auburn 17.
There we go.
I'll take that every day of the week.
Loving it, man. Feeling good.
Oh yeah, feeling
Clark,
good.
This rivalry means a lot to a lot of people. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to the Southwest Georgia folks, to the West Georgia folks over there in Columbus. This is a history game, man. You think about it. Pat Dye, Vince Dooley, Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker, the connection. It used to be a friendly rivalry, Clark. Growing up in the 80s, man, the people who were in the 80s, I was not there, or even in the 90s, it was a respectful rivalry, right? It's not a respectful rivalry anymore. It changed in 2010, and it has been that way. Even though this rivalry is lopsided, Clark, even though that there is three things in life that are for certain. There's death, there's taxes, and Georgia's beating Auburn on the football field. Auburn has been an atrocious program for many years. It's time to put our foot on their throat and let them know who the reigning back-to-back champion is, and let them know who owns them, Clark,
right.
Who owns the overall series history, who owns the longest winning streak in the rivalry, and who will continue to own them. I don't care who their new head coach is, man. It's time to go into Auburn. No more of a satisfying feeling as a Georgia fan than to walk into Opelika, go into Auburn, go into Jordan Hare Stadium, watch that eagle fly around, and every time it flies around, hope it flies out of the stadium and just goes away, man. And have to listen to what they have there in Auburn and hear the banner up. But then you go in there and you whoop their tail. And I don't expect anything differently. Georgia's going to win this football game, Clark. 34-10.
Let's do it.
Big time win on the Plains. Another one again, man. And all's right with the world with Georgia beating Auburn in football to start a heavy Southeastern Conference slate where Georgia's going to roll, continue to prove why they're the number one team in America. It's a great time, as always, to be a Georgia Bulldog. Let your Auburn fan people if you have any Auburn friends, let them know that your team's superior and your team's coming for blood Saturday. It is great to be a Georgia Bulldog. Hope to see y'all in Auburn, Alabama. If you're not going there, enjoy it with your family, friends, and loved ones. Just be watching, be loud, wear your red and black, and go Dogs,
Go
baby.
Dogs.
Ooh, 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 ooh.